What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, June 8th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Yesterday was as enjoyable a day sports gambling can probably be, and it was very different than what's been happening for me lately or for a long time. I didn't even tell really Jose about this, but there were no sweaty palms. I bet more baseball games yesterday than I think maybe I ever have. I can't confirm that, but 15 bets in MLB. And I wasn't. Maybe it's because I was sick last week. I've been off the sauce now because I don't drink during the weekdays. I'm not pacing back and forth with my shirt off. I was totally at peace. And the winners just kept coming in. Hader blew up in the ninth inning out of nowhere. And it was still just glory after glory after glory. And I was looking back and why was it? And it really was because of listening and working together and finding spots where other cappers agreed with a certain look and it correlated with my capping and I moved forward with it. For instance, the Reds weren't going to be on my card, but Pete really liked the Reds. And then TJ came in saying, this is a gift, all about the Reds. It was just listening to you guys and working together. And God damn, it felt fucking good. My bankroll's at a point right now where I can really, invest in spots and not be nervous. And it's all because of us working together. It's my first double-digit unit day in some time, and it felt very, very good. And my goodness, was Peter Loshak on form yesterday. I'm sure you guys noticed it as well. He was very, very good. And you guys in the chat were all very, very good. And we're reaping the benefits. And we've been reaping the benefits now this has got to be our third month of this run where we're just cashing and cashing and cashing. And it feels real good. And, for the first time all season, really, my baseball record will be showing up on the screen, and I won't pretend it's not there and look away in disgust. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I've always recognized that this was an incredible opportunity that I had to cap with you guys every day, and then it should make me the best that I can possibly be. And I just am so thankful. I just love this shit so much. I love this opportunity. And you're damn right I'm going to make fucking money off of it. You're damn right I'm going to cash working with you guys every single day, working with these great guests. We have Noli Nose and it's Durl. God, fucking right, man. Yeah, I got my family out of fucking Parkdale. God, I got futures coming in left, right, and center. And it feels really good because we're doing the work and we've earned this shit. So we deserve this shit because we put the work in. That feels real fucking good. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm really excited about breaking down this card again today. I've moved, as you guys probably guessed already, on the Blue Jays. I've moved on the Yankees first 5 in full game, and that's it. Alcantara Day, Tariq Skubal Day cashed for us again beautifully. First 5 in full game. Alcantara Day, the markets moved heavily against them, so I haven't moved. I mean, I wasn't going to take him at minus 240, but that's just because Josiah Gray's been pitching really well, and the market's been moving quickly away from Alcantara, and I want to talk that with you guys. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. We got Viper NB in the house. So shout out to Jimmy and Loshak for making me bank in NHL. Didn't Loshak cap that so beautifully? Because he's listening. If you watch what he does, like the way he listens, he sweeps the board in NHL with 4 winners. Now I was listening too. I listened to Big Ragu's first period -1.5, and I was like, yes, that correlates with everything I'm thinking. How long did it take for the Lightning to score? Fucking 90 seconds. We talk about these teams that win in the playoffs. Who was the man rushing the puck up the ice? Bogosian. Who shot or got the rebound in the net? Maroon. What's going on with the Avalanche? It's Comfer. And Helm scoring huge goals, but mainly Comfer. That's what makes teams juggernauts this time of year, is when they have 4 lines going. Remember when the Lightning were so dominant last year? It was that third line with Blake Coleman. God, it feels good. Feels good. Warriors money line, Yankees first 5 -1/2, Blue Jays over 8. Let me copy and paste all this. This is what Viper has locked in so far. Let me get this all right here. Vipes MLB ready to go. I love it. Mark Schillingberg in the house had a big day yesterday. I love that. Mark, I love that. Says this is the most consistent I've been since the beginning of the year. Let's keep it rolling. And that's key. Consistency, bankroll management. That's key. Now, look, Mark, you're going to have a day where you get destroyed, and you're going to have a day where you look spectacular. But if you stick with bankroll management, that's why when I said this thing, I said on the show, I said, well, I don't want to cash out. I want my unit size to go up. I don't want to cash out. And I took heat. There's people on the YouTube chat saying that's just the dumbest thing I ever heard, all this stuff. But obviously, family is the most important thing in my life. Obviously. But second is my bankroll. It's my bankroll. My gambling bankroll is the second most important thing in my life after family. And it's because I shouldn't say all of my happiness, but almost all of my happiness comes from our capping and gambling and making these moves. And the success of my life is the bankroll. It's paramount that it's healthy and it grows. And with that bankroll, I can make my dreams come true, which is a higher unit size. And I moved up $50 with NHL during the playoffs back to my original, but there has not been a move from that $200 a unit in, God, I don't know, 3 years. I want it. I am rocking a Belleville Senators hat. Mr. Gogster gifted this to me in San Antonio. Shout out to Mr. Gogster in the house. I love Mr. Gogster. All right, Shy Archie ready to get to work. Fap win betting a 2-game money line parlay. Miami and Philadelphia. Let's copy that here. Fap, my guy's got his new drum of lube. 55-gallon drum of lube for Fap. Brian Watson, Sammy Calmer, Armchair, MMA. Another massive night, 12-7 to get plus 7.5 units. I love seeing that. Yes, Maroon. You called Maroon so beautifully. Billy, I didn't know you were on Twitter. I didn't realize you were on Twitter. I saw you tweet yesterday, and I was like, oh, my God. So I'm following you. Yes, Sammy Calmer, 4-1 correct score given in the chat. Just a thing of absolute beauty. Absolute beauty. AM Titty Sauce play there. That was the only thing that made me feel better about watching Hader. Because, look, I mean, yesterday in MLB, I went 10-2 plus 7.9 units, but it could have been an 11-1 day if Hader had kept his shit together. But when he fell apart, you cashed with your Phillies. That made me feel good. There's my guy, the nuke worker in the house. Sammy Calmer says, I love Jimmy Series' script, just not sure I'll be able to bet against the Rangers. So, this is what I've done so far. I'm very curious to see what the market move is. I'm very curious to see if Rangers money comes in. People have to find their win-loss record appealing for a dog. So I haven't moved on the Lightning. I'm very curious, watching it closely. I did move on the under 5 as soon as it came out. I want the 5. I got the 5 at plus 123. So that was a minus 135 and a plus 190. It's now minus 140 and plus 180. So, and I think what I'm going to do, and I've been thinking about this for a while, since the line came out, I'm going to bet the first period under 1. That way I get the nice big juicy score if it's 0-0. And if 1 goal is scored, I get the push. I haven't bet that yet, but that is, so I think I'll have 3 looks on the game. Michael, thank you so much. There's Vibe, Canadian Capper in the house. Great to see you, Canadian Capper. North Ender said smoked on NHL last night. First period under, full game under, Tampa -1. Tampa first period -0.5. That is an absolute thing of beauty. That is an absolute thing of beauty, North Ender. You crushed it. You crushed it more than Peter I did. I love that. I love the way we talked it out, and I enjoyed it so much. There's my guy, Paco Healy, Lance LaRose, ready to go. Big show picks in the house. Puzzler, my man Puzzler. By the way, my man Puzzler dropped by a couple weeks back with a little gift for me here, and it's made me a better person. It was a little gift from the dispensary and edibles, and it's made me a much more relaxed person. Carter crying in my face. I can pick up Ella and sit in that schoolyard for an hour. It doesn't matter. I'm totally relaxed and totally at peace, and that's thanks to my man Puzzler. Joseph Gomez ready to rock and roll. Says hotter than the Riley Reid Up channel. Thank you, Big Ragu. And it was me listening to when Big Ragu was on the first period minus half. I was like, that correlates exactly with what I'm talking about. And so thank you, Big Ragu, for always leading by example. And there it is right there. We work together to defeat the juice. And that's what we've been doing, man. God, it feels good. There's my guy, LJ from H-Town, Rodney Barton. Puzzler says perhaps less mental stress gives clarity. Yeah, I think so too. I think when your bankroll is, juicy, and there's no concerns around that, it makes everything in life better. Saturated says Red Sox made me sweat a little. Great group. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Hunter Engelhart in the house. He will be joining us. He'll be here next Thursday, and I can't wait to have him on. Says create something. This is something we've done together. But he says we get tons of different styles of cappers that hit every angle. That's exactly it. Von Polo says, when is the trip to Atlantic City? Do you know the hotel we're looking at? And I can drive there. Yes, we don't know the hotel yet. We're still working on figuring that out, but that is the next big trip. And that's what the that's buy a beer for Pub Sports Radio. That thing is because we're trying to raise money for different things for that big trip. So that's what that is for. And when Jose gets a chance, we'll pop that link in here to buy Pub Sports Radio a beer. Nuflashan says, was hoping you caught my Padres gift yesterday. I pushed on that. But if I tailed all of your action, I'd be a much wealthier man. Not Flush Allen. And Paco says Pete is a world-class capper. He was really good yesterday. That's as good as I've seen him. He just was he's had so much clarity and confidence, and he was making moves, but the thing is, if you watch him, he was listening. And that's the main thing that I've gotten from him. And that's how I was able to get extra cash yesterday. That's how I was able to get extra cash yesterday. Lucas Ryan, thank you so much for the kind words. It feels really, really good. It feels really, really good. There's Victor. All right, you guys, it's time to get rolling. Ron Crawford running so hot as well. Real Deal Prime 9-3 last night. And Big Roots has been crushing the Jays since the Angels series. Yeah, man, it's just running real nice. Jason M says, hey, Jimmy Bo Baggins here all the way from Australia is hitting the car park away. Oh, I love it. I respect that so much. Okay, let's get to work. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Dabby Cab in the house. Nasty Nate. Creekman, my guy Creekman. Cold finger. Ik Schnizzle coming off another winning day. There's Clint Star, the Die Hard MMA podcast. Red Girl, Walla Walla Dose. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. There's Officer of 50, Ayash Yala, a.k.a. Robert Cherry. Belly Button, Play of the Day, Celtics Trifecta from Nasty Nate. Okay, let's get what's Hunter Engelhart on? Let's see Hunter's action here. Sorry, let's grab it. Here we go. I've fallen a little bit behind here. I missed the barbecue sauce titty play of the days in as well. Okay, so it's a Netherlands team total over 2.5 at plus 175 from AM. He's a spectacular soccer capper, so keep an eye on his action. And thank you, Ski, my man. It was fun to watch it come through like that. Ski Profit in the house, Tyrone Coleman, Austin Hill. We have a spectacular group. I wish I could say what up to all of you. You deserve it. Let's get to work. First, let's do a quick review of MLB. It was glorious, man. 10-2, made 15 bets, pushed 3, but 10-2 plus 7.9 units, and we've hit our high water mark of the season. And there's been some scary spots this year. So, I mean, I have spent 95% of the year or more in negative units. So it feels good to be sitting here right now. Blue Jays first 5 -0.5 was a casher. Blue Jays full game -1 was a casher. Tigers first 5 casher. Tigers full game casher. Cleveland game 1 -1 at plus 120. Casher. Cincinnati first 5 -0.5 casher. Cincinnati full game -1 casher. Man, I started out dumb hot. St. Louis Tampa Bay first 5 over 4 was a loss. Yankees first 5 -0.5 -120 casher. Yankees full game -1 casher. White Sox first 3 push. Milwaukee Brewers full game -115 was a loss. Philly Milwaukee under 8.5 was just an easy casher. I love the cap on that. Mets San Diego first 5 under 4 was a push, and thankful for that. Pretty fortunate there. Colorado, San Francisco over 8 was a push, and those of you who got in at 7.5 cashed it. All right, Sammy Comer, this was a gift from Mr. Gokster. This is a Belleville Senators hat. Belleville Senators hat. Let's bring in our guy, your first guest, who, as I said, when he joined us, he was the main MLB capper I've had working with in my career, and he's been so good. I wanted him on the show right at the top of the beginning of the season. Took a little while for us to get everything together and get him on, but he was excellent. He was here last Wednesday. He went 4-2 plus 1.87 units with an average line of minus 105. And he comes to us from Long Beach, California. Please welcome back to the show, Noli Knows in the house. Noli, how are you, my man?
I'm doing really well, Jimmy. Real excited to be back in action. Yeah, I had a decent day. Should have stayed off the Royals. Fall a knife there, caught it and bled, and that's just the way it goes. But I'm excited to be back, and thanks for having me back.
I love it. And we want a lot more of you. Let's get right to work here. And we've got a afternoon baseball action. This one pops off in an hour and 17 minutes, 12:35 p.m. Eastern. Detroit Tigers 22-33, 7-18 on the road at the Pittsburgh Pirates 24-29, 13-16 at home. We're at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I got to get the weather up here. I will right now. Sorry, take me a second here. There we go. Let's start with the weather, and let's just keep doing everything that we've been doing as it's been working very well. 71 Fahrenheit at first pitch and almost no wind. 1.6 miles per hour in, goes up to 2.5. Wind is non-issue. Let's move over to the line history in this spot. Faedo versus Helen Mitch Keller. Pirates open up at minus 115. They've taken 10 cents of movement. The last happened about 30 minutes ago, a 5-cent move to them. So they're at minus 125. This total opened up at 8 juice to the under, minus 120. It's now 8 juice to the over at minus 115. We go to the wow. So today at Sports Insights, there are 3 teams with full line value, and we will get to them. Here, I'll give you an idea of who they are. Don't need to play like that, but the Royals against the Blue Jays, the Royals have full line value. The Mariners have full line value, and the St. Louis Cardinals against Kluber have full line value today. Let's talk about the money here with Faedo versus Keller. 7,401 tickets in, 57% of tickets, 71% of the cash on the Pirates. 57% of tickets, 76% cash on the over, and it's moved in that direction. So that all makes sense. Top set is on the Tigers' first 5 and the under 4 first 5. There's control your vessel in the house. So let's just talk about this a little bit more. Set a quick table for Noli to take it away. Faedo, 1-2, 3.09 ERA, 1.31 whip. Those of you know I'm very high on Faedo. I like him, and I like his character a lot. Last start, we cashed with him. 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, no homers, 5 Ks, 2 walks, and a 3-2 win at home versus the Twins. Then on the other side of it, we have Helen Mitch Keller, who has not been good this year. She has struggled. She is 2-5, 5.77 ERA, 1.56 whip, 37 Ks, 20 walks, 6 home runs, and 43 2/3. Coming off a nice start, though, at the Dodgers, part of Jose's board sweepage in Chavez Ravine. He went 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks, 5 walks. The Tigers versus righties, just 209, 582 OPS, and the Pirates suck too, 225, 652 OPS. Tigers bullpen being so good this year, 2.84 ERA, 1.10 whip, converted 14 of 18. This Pirates bullpen, 3.98 ERA, 1.30 whip, converted 14 of 21. First game on the board for us. Noli knows. Afternoon action. Tigers, Pirates. Take it away, my man.
Yeah, this game's interesting to talk about. We look at these 2 teams, 2 of the worst hitting teams in all of baseball, sitting about 28th and 30th in almost every category. You talk batting average, 28th and 29th, runs, 30th and 28th, home runs, 30th and 23rd, and slugging, 30th and 26th. And that's something that I've picked on about the season, and that's something that I like to do with these teams. Faedo on the mound, I backed him. Well, not necessarily backed him, but backed the under in various games with him. And it's pretty much you just write in 5 innings pitched, 2 runs. It seems like you get that from him every single time, all but once. this season, and he's done pretty well. He gives up some hits, but is able to get out of jams, and that's something that I like to see out of him. I think he'll be able to do well against the Pittsburgh Pirates that I mentioned are towards the bottom in hitting. I think the big question mark is, like you said, with Keller. There's a big question mark, and even with the Pittsburgh Pirates, they saw the inconsistency. They moved him to the bullpen for a couple outings, and where they were trying to develop some pitches and try to get his pitching repertoire a little bit different, and that's what you've seen since his return. He's trying to mix in what they call a sinker, more so like a two-seam fastball. It's got a lot of movement. He's getting it up there at about 95, 96. Kind of debuted the pitch the very first time in his first time out of the bullpen. He hit Contreras with it and then didn't throw it again. But the next time against the Colorado Rockies, he ended up throwing the pitch 19 times, average exit velocity of 70 miles an hour. Then against the Dodgers, when they put him back into the rotation, he used the pitch 34 times. 14 of those were swing and miss or called strikes. Most of any of his pitches. That's something that I like to see, and encouraging signs for a pitcher trying to adjust to some of the batters. He's got to adjust, and he's got to get away from that four-seam fastball that's been getting lit up the entire season. He's given over a 300 batting average against that, and I think that if with the incorporation of this pitch and going against these Detroit Tigers that simply can't hit consistently, especially for power, I expect them to have a decent outing here, and I see an 8 with these two teams, and I'm going full game under 8 here.
Makes sense from a statistical breakdown. The market makes me nervous, but stats-wise, this makes perfect sense, and everybody agreeing. Love Hunter Englehart's additions to this process. Says Keller's extra base hits numbers are really good, though. As long as he throws strikes, this first half under will hit. Keller day games 3 walks in 18 and 2/3 innings, and night game 17 walks in 25 innings. Great to see Andrew McKinnis joining us. We need more of him around. Love the guy. Wow. Coin saying Keller 0-4 in home starts this year. There's Birdie in the house. Great to see you, Birdie. Okay, well, let's line chop right now. I think I just need a little bit more. I just, for what, Noli, you beat MLB every year, and it's your bread and butter, and you have no fear going against. You just trust your numbers and trust your belief. For me, I can't trust myself. I have to have everything correlate, or else things sort of fall apart for me. But I get it. And both Pete and I were talking about how in this past year, when the market moves against us, we have a better ROI than when the market moves with us. And so I completely understand why you're moving on this. And I also have to trust why I'm going to stay off at this point. And I'm just going to let it go. But if I did just trust myself in the numbers, I certainly would be on this with you. And maybe I end up on it, but I'm not going to sit here and hum and haw. Right now, the under 8 is at plus 100 at Pinnacle. So I'm going to get Noli locked in here. If anybody can find better than that, let me know. Plus 100. I'll check out Circa as we move on here. Top Set says, I think Faedo has his best start here. Bruce Hayward also on the Pirates. And at this point, I'm going to stay off. But great breakdown, Noli, and great work from the chat. Let's move on to 2:10 p.m. Eastern. Toronto Blue Jays at Kansas City Royals. The talk in the whole Gaussman start was that he was tipping his pitches. So I've only been betting the Jays full game, and then also I add the first 5 when Manoah starts. And I would like to add Gaussman to that first 5 list, but if he's having this issue with tipping his pitches right now, I'll have to see his next start before I do that. I certainly don't want Yusei Kikuchi first 5, and he's coming off a bad start. 4 2/3, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 homers, 6 Ks, no walks, and 9-3 loss at home versus the Twins. And there's been there's been a handful of times over this run the Jays have been on since they were 22-20, where, I wouldn't bet on the Jays if I wasn't just blindly betting them every day. And this is probably one of those situations, but I don't care. I'm just going to keep going right back to the well. Jared TG says, listening in from the beach on vacation. Respect, Jared TG, my man. Puzzler says, Noli is a pleasure to listen to. A great source of pertinent info with a concise, crisp delivery. Man, that's you need that. You need that on your website. Jesus, that's
Yeah, I need that.
that's
Copy paste that for me, Jimmy.
That's the best review I've ever heard of anybody in my entire life. Okay, I just copied and pasted that. Oh man, well put, Puzzler. Well put. Okay, let's go back to this spot here. We're in Kansas City, and these Royals have been completely shut down by the Blue Jays over these last two games. 76 Fahrenheit, 10.9 miles per hour is the wind right to left. It stays right to left throughout the game. Slightly in, and goes up to about 11.6 miles per hour. I'm gathering from this idea that the Royals have all this line value that I got in at a bad number. And not so bad. I got in at the minus 150 opening line. It's now minus 140. So I get it. It's okay there. This total opened up at 8.5 at 5:06 p.m. At 7 p.m. it went to 9. It's minus 120 to the under, and that's where it stays. And then we go over to the cash in this one. And as I said, full line value for the Kansas City Royals. 15% of the tickets on the Royals, 41% of the cash, then 47% of the tickets on the under, and 88% of the cash. And yet it's moved a half run from 8.5 to 9, which is strange. Mike M on Toronto, first 5 over 4.5. Ski Profit said I played the over 8.5. I'm probably going to go back to the Jays team total over. Top Set says I think that I'm going to bet the Jays live. I like Kansas City to score first. Kikuchi was pitching pretty nice, very nice, better than we expected until that last start. 9-3 loss at home versus the Twins. Went 4 2/3, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 jacks allowed, 6 Ks, no walks. He's 2-2 with a 3.91 ERA, 1.37 WHIP on the year. 50 Ks in 46 innings, which we like, but 24 walks is too many. 7 home runs allowed. Brady Singer has a very high upside, and he's coming off a bad start at home versus the Astros. 5 innings, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, 3 jacks allowed as well, 4 Ks and no walks. And he's been good this year. Other than that last start, 2-1, 4.15 ERA, 1.09 WHIP. That last start was his first loss of the season. 30 and a third, 30 Ks, 4 walks, and 5 home runs allowed. Jays are hitting 246, 731 OPS, first righties. I keep saying, watch that number climb. It was below 700 5 days ago. Royals don't hit lefties, 231, 635 OPS. Blue Jays bullpen is vulnerable, although it's looked good in Kansas City against the weak hitting Royals. 3.92 ERA, 1.22 WHIP, converted 21 of 31. Royals bullpen is terrible, and they walk batter after batter after batter, and you can't defend that. 4.91 ERA, 1.54 WHIP, converted 9 of 16. Canadian Capper 72. Big Beaver play of the day is back. He's on Bichette over 1.5 total bases at plus 165. Simple reasoning here. Bo hits opposite field and pulls equally. Royals outfield can't cheat and have to play Bo straight up. Lots of room and gaps. Sammy Comer says Jays down to minus 133. Going to stay away. I get it. But I'm just going to bet them every single day and reap the glorious rewards. Take it away, Noli knows. Floor is yours. Blue Jays Royals.
Yeah, question marks here with Singer, similar to Keller, pitching repertoire being a concern, and I wouldn't necessarily say he's had a great season. I believe he's had 2 good starts. Let's not forget, he also got sent to the bullpen, even got sent down to AAA this season. And the big reason he had to work on some things, and the big thing was the changeup. He's been using the changeup significantly more this season, but he forgets to use it against the right-handed hitters. He's still being a 2-pitch pitcher against them, and that's going to be a concern here going against these Blue Jays, a team that's red hot. Some of these batters are red hot, and not just your average names that you might think of. It's actually a guy that I might give out here, but we'll see. Overall, the last 12 games, you look at the run total for the Blue Jays, 10 of the last 12 have gone over the total. So that's something that a bit of a concern for Singer here. And you look over their last 7 games, hitting 300, averaging 7.1 runs per game. And on the other side for the Royals, complete opposite. They've been going ice cold, the worst team in baseball right now. Over the last 7 games, hitting just 208, averaging 2.7 runs per game, failing to score in the last 2 games, also failing to score in the first 5 over the last 4 games. So something that you might want to pick on. It's just the tough part for me is Kikuchi. You know, that's the tough thing. when is this guy going to be on? When is he going to be off? And that's something that's always been a concern for me. I've tried to fade him in the past, and then he has this gem, and then he comes back, and I want to back him, and then he gets lit up, and so I go back and forth. He had two starts against Kansas City last year. He went 3 innings, 3 earned runs. 5 innings, 4 earned runs. So they were able to hit him decently, but I mentioned it. This Kansas City Royal team just really isn't hitting right now. So in this game, I actually went a little bit different. I actually went with a hitter prop. I look at Alejandro Kirk. Over the last 10 games, he is tearing it up. 6 of the last 10 games, he's had a multiple hits, 4 home runs, and 3 doubles in that span. I'm looking at his over 1.5 total bases here. I got that at plus 139.
Over 1.5. I love that. He's now qualified. He has enough at bats to qualify for everything. So he's top 10 in everything right across the board right now in Major League Baseball. Over 1.5 bases. And that was at what? Plus 138?
Plus 139 is what I got.
Plus 139 for Noli. And Noli gave out a over 1.5 bases on his first show that cashed beautifully. Let me just.
I don't know how I feel about that one. You know, it was the game goes over with that double that he hit. So I was like, damn.
Oh, I thought it was 2 singles. I must have. I thought it was
he ended up hitting a double at in the 9th inning, and they took the game over by 1.
Oh, I get it. Sorry, I get it. Yeah, I feel you. So you split then because of it. Yeah, it was a Alvarez. Oh, of course, yeah, because you had the under 7.5, a minus 113. That was a loss, but you had Alvarez over 1.5 bases at plus 100. Little C says, is Kikuchi trustable? The answer is no. He's not. Now, he's been better on the road than he has been at home, and the Royals aren't hitting, but is he trustable? I think the answer has to be no. North Ender says Kirk bases have been money. Yeah, we have the best, by quite a bit, the highest offense from the catcher position in Major League Baseball. And that's a huge bonus, huge bonus. Okay, let's roll. And Nutflush Allen says we have to do a San Francisco versus.
Nope, we lost Jimmy's audio for a second there.
I just lost my audio. I don't know why that happened. Okay, I'm back. I'm back, right? Yeah?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Nutflush saying we need to have a Noli Nutflush live from Dodgers Giants when it comes up. Yes, or we could just have it on the show as well too. We'd love to have you guys both just on the show as well. All right, Hunter Engelhardt saying Singer coming off a 3-dinger game in Houston, and he's facing a team that's built to hit dingers. Singer's BAA goes from 182 at bases empty to 375 with runners on base. And James Little thanking you for the Red Sox yesterday, Jose. So Alejandro Kirk over 1.5 bases at plus 139. I'm on the Jays -1, which I take every day, and I bet it as soon as I can. I was a little late. Yesterday just because I was just sitting back, my legs crossed, watching the winners roll in, patting myself on the back. But so I was a little late, but I got the -116 on the -1 line. Taint play today is in for Matty Ice. Yankees first 5 -0.5. I'm on Taint. I like that. Taint is in, and Noli has moved on both games thus far. Let me get this Yankee spot in for Taint. Okay, we roll on. Afternoon action. Noli's on the under 8 at plus 100 in Detroit. Pittsburgh, he's on Alejandro Kirk over 1.5 bases at plus 139. Those are the 2 afternoon games. Let's move on to night action. We start 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Arizona Diamondbacks 26-31, 12-15 on the road at the Cincinnati Reds, 20-35, 12-15 at home at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. Man, the chat was so good with this game yesterday and gave me a beautiful payday. And it was excellent work from Peter Loshak, TJ, to all you guys who were back in the Reds saying it was a gift. It certainly was a gift. Let's start with the weather. Oh, and sorry, Ski asked about this full line value because we have the account at Sports Insights here. And, it's expensive. It's over $1,500 a year, and you can't split it, which is helpful, but it's expensive. And they give out their perceived line value on games, and they're pretty good. It's pretty impressive how their record with it. So that's why I just let people know about it. I try to only give information here because in baseball you can be flooded with so much information, and I think some of the information isn't as important as others, but I try to give everybody that information. All right, let's go back to this Merle Kelly, Mike Minor spot, Diamondbacks, Reds. And as I said, we're going to start with the weather in Cincy. We have rain, and rain. So let's see if RotoWire thinks this game is even going to be played. Let's see if they believe the game is on here. Maybe it's just going to be a waste of. They do. 35% rain. It's not in red. They think it's going to be played, and they don't.
It's
the
gonna
switch
rain
doesn't.
right at game start. It definitely is going to be raining.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
Whether or not they push it back.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not under the possible weather delay or rainout board. But yeah, it's clearly going to be raining. Looks like throughout the game. 10 miles per hour, right to left across the diamond. I guess we don't need to put too much time into this spot, but let's just do a little bit of due diligence. Because when Loshak didn't move on the Yankees, once we figured out who was pitching, I was like, oh, I felt like, because this takes so much work, and sometimes you just want to let go of a spot. But that was a really nice first 5 and full game casher for us yesterday. First 5 minus half and full game. -1. Let's go to the line history here. No movement. Opened up with the Reds -120 yesterday. Hasn't moved. And the totals moved quite a bit. The first move was to the under, 9.5 to 9. Since then, it's been climbing consistently, 9 to 9.5. And now 10. It hit 10 at 10:48 a.m. We'll see if the cash flow follows suit with that information. Sorry, where the hell is... here we go. 5,321 tickets in. 68% of the tickets, 74% of the cash on Arizona. Market's not moving. 81% of the tickets, 87% of cash on the over. So everything following that. Coin says Cincinnati scoring like crazy at home. 4+ runs in 23 of 27 games. Rebirth of the Big Red Machine. My goodness. There's TJ, my guy right here. I love it. TJ, thank you. You were the one that really said that was it, the Reds were a gift, and that really helped me pull the trigger. Merle Kelly, 4-3, 3.66 ERA, 1.39 WHIP, 49 Ks in 59 innings. He's fallen back a little bit of late, but man, he had a spectacular start to the season. Last start, he went 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 of which were in 2 Ks and 4 walks, and an 8-6 win at the Pirates. Mike Minor had a rough first start of the season, 4 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 homers, 4 Ks, no walks, and an 8-5 loss at home to the Nationals. Diamondbacks don't hit lefties, 213, 615 OPS. The Reds' numbers versus righties are improving, 233, 684 OPS. Diamondbacks bullpen, 4.78 ERA, 1.44 WHIP, 16 of 23. Reds bullpen, worst in the league, 5.19 ERA, 1.43 WHIP, converted 10 of 15. And TJ says it's a gift, moves to 9-2. Let's keep our eye out for when TJ says it's a gift. Take it away here, Noli knows. We're at Great American Ballpark. Diamondbacks, Reds.
Yeah, Diamondbacks, Reds. Yeah, you mentioned some question marks with Kelly, and also on the other side, on the other side as well. I mean, you look at the Reds and what they've been able to do in their offensively, and it really keeps me off these type of games. I was able to cash a first 5 under a couple games ago, going with Bumgarner and Hunter Green on the mound. That able to cash that game, and the big reason for that was I was picking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Arizona Diamondbacks up until that 8th inning, they were in the rain delay and came back and put up some runs. But before that, they had been shut down in back-to-back games and had only scored one run in 36 innings. So really a team that really isn't hitting the ball very well. You mentioned their difficulties against lefties, but here they face Mike Minor, and how does he really feel? He did have some rehab starts in the minor leagues. They said he feels good, but coming into the major leagues is quite a bit of different story. He talks about it just being his first start, getting his feet under him, and hey, you got to start somewhere. But he had a really tough outing. You look at, he was getting hit hard on his fastball, and that's something that he's going to need to be a little bit more successful. 12 swings, 0 misses, average exit velocity of 95 miles an hour on his fastball. So really not getting it done, but can he get it done against the Diamondbacks? There is a possibility. Kelly on the other side, been off and on, But I just don't want to run into this offense averaging 6 runs a game at home. You look at another thing I look at. What I was looking at, I thought about going with some hitter props. Tyler Stevenson, he's got 4 straight games with 4 straight multi-hit games. And the other guy is Brandon Drury. Guy swings very effortless. A guy I'm just a big fan of. He's on a 7-game hit streak. 5 of those 7 games, he's had multiple hits with 3 home runs in that span. But ultimately, I stayed off the game because I see rain.
Yeah, I well put. Well, great breakdown. I agree with all of it. I'm also off of this spot. Let's move on to a fascinating game, 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Pitchers with a lot of history against the opposition. Seattle Mariners at Houston Astros. Mariners 25-31, 13-21 on the road at the Astros, 36-20, 15-7 at home. We're at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. Logan Gilbert versus Jose Urquidy. Gilbert has been really good this year. 5-2, 2.22 ERA, 1.03 WHIP, 65 innings, 67 Ks, 19 walks, 5 home runs. His last start, 4-3 win at the Rangers. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. Just 1 was earned. No homers and 7 Ks. Going up against Urquidy, who has not been good this year. 5-2, 4.76 ERA, 1.51 WHIP, 40 Ks and 8 walks, but he's allowed 9 home runs this year. Last start, 10-3 win at the Royals. 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 6 Ks, 1 walk, and a 10-3 win. That was the spot where I took Singer first 5, and rued the consequences here. Mariners versus righties 244, 713 OPS, and Astros versus righties 240, 729 OPS. Mariners bullpen atrocious, 4.32 ERA, 1.24 WHIP, converted 10 of 17. Maybe atrocious is a little harsh, not as bad as the very worst few teams in the league. Astros bullpen 2.64 ERA, 1.14 WHIP, have converted 16 of 19. Control Your Vessel says last matchup Gilbert dominated. Mad Stoney looking at no runs first inning in Houston today. Top Set says Mariners first 5 full game, team total over, and leaning first 5 full game, team total overs, and leaning first 5. Okay, let's bring up the line history and the cash flow in this spot. Here we go. We got what the hell did I do with it? All right, I've got to pull everything back up. Why is this happening? It's just going to take me a second. Safari's messing with me. Here we go. Okay, it's up here. First off, line history is annoying. This will just take we got, God, I don't know why this is happening. All right, well, let's go to the odds. At least that's up here. Sorry, I mean the cash flow in the Mariners. Wait for the other thing to load here. For Houston, Seattle, we have the second spot on the board with full line value. So at this point, they have only one team with half line value. That's the White Sox. They have a bunch of slivers, but they have 3 teams with full line value. We already talked about the Royals. Now we're talking about the Mariners with Gilbert. 4,842 tickets in. And listen to this, 40% of the tickets, 95% of the cash on the Mariners. So now I need to see the line history. Now it's imperative to see if there's been a big move towards these guys. Let me move over to Seattle, Houston, and here we go. Just a 10-cent move to the Mariners. Interesting. From plus 130 to plus 120, and all the big bets have come in on these Mariners. Wow. Then 65% of the tickets on the under and 53% of the cash on the under. Let's see if that makes sense here with the total. It opened up at 8.5 as a pick'em, and it's still there. So very, very interesting. All this money coming in on the Mariners, only a 10-cent move towards them. Noli knows, take it away. Mariners, Astros.
Yeah, this game interesting because you talked about it, the history. When there's also a lot of history between the teams, a lot of numbers to look at, and it's, I guess sometimes it maybe seems simpler to just try to predict, but sometimes be a little bit difficult. Here, what I look at with Gilbert, he's had 4 quality starts. He's looking really good out there. He had 1 tough start against Houston in his career, but since then has rattled off 3 really impressive starts, really holding down some of their tougher bats. But a couple guys really getting to him from the right-hand side. Get to that in a bit. The big question mark, I think, in this game, I think it's obvious with Kevy. Here on the season, at home, he's pitched significantly better, just a 1.47 ERA as opposed to on the road. And 2 of those starts on the road where he got lit up were against this Seattle team. In 69 at-bats against Urquidy, they're hitting 312 with a 454 slugging. So it's the Astros, that's the Mariners team that's hitting Urquidy pretty well. So that's a bit of a concern for me when I'm looking at the totals perspective. So for me personally, not even going to get involved in the game. But one thing that I did notice is the way Altuve hits. The way he hits Gilbert, he's 6 for 11. He has 3 doubles, a home run. That's good for a 1.091 slugging, which is out of this world. 544 batting average. Bregman also hits him, but a guy that doesn't is Yordan Alvarez, a guy that I actually took last time. He's 1 for 10 against him. Numbers that really stood out for me. But I definitely lean towards the Mariners, a team that's definitely can hit the ball pretty well. And Urquidy, his home road splits, something that, it caught my eye, and something that I actually looked back on. I looked over the last few years, and something that really hasn't been an issue. So I'm not sure what it has been, or maybe just the fact that Seattle just flat out hits them, and maybe they get to them here again. So I definitely would agree with taking some plus money with Seattle, but just not my type of angle, and I'll be off this game.
Wow. Oh, by the way, Alejandro Kirk is not in the lineup. Zach Collins is catching. So we'll cut the Kirk over 1.5 bases for Noli knows. That hurts the Jays offense too. And notice Danny Jensen went down and Moreno wasn't called up, which is what we all as Jays fans are hoping for here. Very interesting breakdown. TJ says all of Gilbert's bad numbers versus Houston are from getting rocked on 8-21-21. Since then, 2 earned runs in 16 and a third innings. Noli, if I had have listened to you in the chat yesterday, and I remember you writing it, and when I lost the bet, I was like, God damn, Noli told me, was on that first 5 over 4 in the Cardinals-Rays game. You mentioned that the Cardinals haven't hit lefties for 3 straight starts. And we keep going back to how important it is, and learn this from Peter Loshak, just to listen, because that should have been enough to get me off that first 5 over, what Noli said to me, and it wasn't. And I take that off, and Hader doesn't blow up in the 9th inning, and there's 11-0 day in MLB. So Armchair MMA, that's full game. Whenever I say 95% of the money or anything of that sort, that's full game. At this point in the day, it's too early to go to first 5s and that stuff. The sample size is too small, so it's just full game when I give that information. Now, Flush Allen says this game is screaming over. And you mentioned Urquidy's splits here. I would like to take a look at them myself at home. At home, 18 in the third innings. So one of the things that I've done in the past, and maybe this is a mistake, is I don't give these stats out to you guys until after the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals are over. In my thought process is just that the sample size is too small at this point earlier. And maybe that's a mistake. I'm not quite sure. But 1.47 ERA at home, 261 opponents batting average, and you have hitters on both sides that can get to Urquidy and get to Gilbert. Makes me not want to be involved in this spot either. That makes me not want to be involved in this spot either. So I'm going to and there's Dennis saying, yeah, it's annoying. I know Dennis wants Moreno up here so bad. I want to watch him up here so badly as well. Don Max says Urquidy better at home in his career as well, but the home road splits haven't been extreme before, is what Noli is saying. So Noli, you're staying off this Mariners Astros, but you have a lean towards Mariners.
Yeah, I lean towards the Mariners. Urquidy does put it together, under possibility. Not to forget, Houston Astros, the most profitable under team, specifically at home, 15-6 to the under. So automatically, I want to do something. If somebody could shut down Houston, I typically look to go under because of their pitching and their great bullpen, specifically at home. So if anything, I'd lean towards the under here. And Seattle.
And a huge advantage for the bullpen. They allow 1.68 runs a game less per 9 innings than the Mariners, which is wild. Cheshire Cat says take Altuve bases. I'm not going to be involved in this spot either. All right, let's move on to a fascinating game. Alcantara has been such an easy bet for us. And you can basically bet him blindly at home. And we did last start, and I tripled up on the last start. I had the Mariners first five, the Marlins first five minus a half. I had Marlins full game -1, and I had the first five under 3.5, and it all came through. It was the Alex Wood start against Alcantara. We know that the Marlins aren't hitting lefties. The crazy thing is what the Marlins are doing to righties. 259, 758 OPS. I know Derek Jeter didn't see that coming. Josiah Gray going up against Alcantara, and we've had this giant market move towards the Nationals, and I have not bet the Marlins, even though I want to. So let's talk about the line history first, and then we will move on to the cash flow and then hear what Noli has to say. This total opened up at 7, and it moved to 7.5 at 9:30 this morning. So not only that, it's been continuing to move towards the over. It's now juiced to the over at 7.5, and that happened at 10:58 a.m. So we're sitting at 7.5 as a total, and it's come back a little bit to the Marlins. So the Marlins opened up at -245, and there's a huge move at 9 this morning. So at 8:56 this morning, it moved to -230. There'd been a 15-cent move to Nationals. 9 minutes later, a 30-cent move. A 30-cent move, and you don't see that at Bet365 very often. So they go from -230 to -200. Now they've gained 10 cents back. So they're at -210. And you have to think a lot of this is predicated on how good Josiah Gray has looked of late. And now we talked about this Reds offense looking so good of late. That makes his last performance at the Great American Ballpark even more impressive. He went 6 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs. Just 1 was earned. A homer, 9 Ks, and 3 walks, and an 8-5 win. He's looking like there's good reason that he was brought over from the Dodgers. Let's take a look at the cash flow in this one. We have 4,173 tickets in. 75% of the tickets, 89% of the cash on the Marlins, and yet we have this massive move to the Nationals. 71% of tickets on the over. Now, I'm going to refresh this. It says 99% of the cash is on the over, but it's not in yellow, so it makes me think that we need to wait a second longer here to get the right information. But it still says that. So all this money coming on the over, we've seen it move from 7 to 7.5, and now it's due 7.5. All this money coming on the Marlins, and the market's moved to the Nationals. So this is very confusing. Alcantara has been very good. The Nats are hitting 254, 705 OPS versus righties. That's improving. Nats bullpen 4.65 ERA, 1.41 WHIP, converted 9 of 13. The Marlins bullpen last couple weeks has been terrible. And now a 4.20 ERA, 1.34 WHIP, converted 11 of 19. TJ says, good luck, fam. Can't stick around, but I'll watch the replays always. Best look today for me. Yankees -1.5. Lecce, says our man TJ. I love that you are on that. LJ from H-Town says, Marlins own the Nationals. Nationals are 5-15 in the division. Mike M says, Marlins have lost 6 in a row after a win. Gray is a good look, and Miami shot the load yesterday. Feels like a great Nat spot. Fireside says, Marlins -210 is rough. Gray's been pitching decent last few starts. Overreaction in the last game with Alcantara pitching. The Nats can still hit on the road. Let's hear what Noli Knows has to say. I find this game fascinating. So many moving parts. Take it away, Nationals Marlins.
Yeah, you mentioned the dominance from Sandy Alcantara on the season. Leads the MLB with 74 innings pitched, but also just allowed 4 home runs all season. He's 7th in ground ball outs with 79 outs, and that's something I love to see. I love the ground ball guys, get you out of jams, and he's pitched extremely well against this Nationals team. Of the guys on that roster in 124 at-bats, giving up just a 157 batting average and a 214 slugging. Since 2020, he's had 5 games against these Nationals. Only 1 game he gave up 4 earned runs. The rest, he gave up 1 or less, going 8 innings 2 times, giving up 1 and 0 another, and then 6 innings, 1 earned the other 2 times. So a team that he seemed more than capable of handling, and I'd expect nothing other than him to be able to do it again. He looks like he's really healthy on top of his form, and maybe in contention for a little Cy Young, maybe, who knows. But on the other side is the big question mark, Josiah Gray, a guy that was a top prospect in the Dodgers organization, so a guy that is highly touted and a guy that does have the stuff, Command has been an issue, and the long ball has been an issue. Comparison to the 4 home runs Sandy has given up, Josiah Gray has given up 14 home runs on the year, 62nd out of 65 quality, 62 out of 65 starters, qualified starters for the list. And so almost dead last in that category. But one thing that I've noticed with Josiah, he's been much more comfortable on the road. He's got a 2.22 ERA in 5 games started, 28 innings pitched, 27 strikeouts, and just a batting average of 156 allowed. He started twice against these Marlins already this season, giving up 4 runs and then going 6 innings, 3 earned runs. Quality start the last time out against them. And something that you noticed over the last 2 games is he's been pitching pretty well. He pitched well against Colorado and then on the road at Cincinnati, who we just got done talking about how they've been hitting the cover off the ball, especially at home. So a quality, really good start there, only giving up 1 earned run off a home run, 9 strikeouts. And that's something that I want to focus there is the strikeouts. This is a guy that his K per 9 is 14th overall with a 9.9, and the Marlins on the other side are 24th out of 30 teams striking out per 9, 8.9 per game, striking out 9 times over the last 2 games. And if you look at his last 2 starts against this Miami team, he struck them out 7 and 10 times. So something that I'd be leaning towards is Josiah Gray's K prop over. Not really my forte, not something that I do too much, but I see the numbers and they're screaming at me. But I'm expecting a decent start from Josiah Gray, and I'm actually going against the trend, and I'm going to go under the total.
Yeah, I mean, that was my whole idea. What do you think it is? I guess it's pretty simple. Is it because Marlins are smashing righties right now? Nats numbers against righties are improving daily. Is that that's the reason why this has gone from 7 to 7.5?
Yeah, and overall, the numbers for Marlins in their stadium, the numbers actually towards the over this season. And you look how they've been hitting the right-handed batters, hitting the ball significantly better. And if you look at the numbers, a majority of the Marlins runs have come via the home run. So that is a concern here for today with Josiah Gray on the bump. But for me, I think he's done well. He's going to gain some confidence, and I'm going to ride him while he's hot.
Do you want first 5 or full game?
I'm going full game on this one. Just the simple fact with Sandy, I believe I get 7, 8 innings, even 9 innings. Leads the MLB in innings pitched, and for good reason. He's thrown over 100 pitches in like 4 straight games. It's not an issue for him, and so I like that.
Wow. So you're the under 7.5 minus 101 at Pinnacle, and it just makes perfect sense. The whole thing makes perfect sense, and yet I'm frozen with fear of the market move, and I'm going to allow myself just to say that that's okay. Look, the under 7.5 is minus 114 at Circa, and it's minus 101 over here at Pinnacle. Circa often tries to mimic. Oh, well, I shouldn't say that. I believe. I don't know. It's not a black and white thing, but I believe they just kind of mimic what Pinnacle does, and I think a lot of books do. I've not seen ever Circa being 13 cents off of a Pinnacle line. Huh. Wow. Okay. Nathan Stern says, I can see a Marlins win 4-2. And a lot of talk here in the chat. Ixnizzle wants a group to get together for the Thistle Derby. It's the Ohio Derby, right? At Thistle Downs. And he's saying that is, he just popped that in the chat. The 25th. I think I have a wedding. I think I have a wedding that weekend, which I despise. But I'll double check that. But if we could still, even if I can't make it, if we get a big group to hang out together, that would make me so happy. All right, so we have a second under for Noli Knows and a second under where he's going against the market move. He's on the under 8 at plus 100 full game with Detroit, Pittsburgh. And now he's on the under 7.5 at minus 101 in Washington, Miami. So let's keep rolling. Next up, 7:05 p.m. Eastern, Chicago Cubs at Baltimore Orioles. We're at Camden Yards in Charm City. We got Von Polo in the house as well. Let's see what the weather is. 81 Fahrenheit. A nice looking day. Overcast. Nice looking day, though. 6 miles per hour to left field and stays between 5.5 or 5.2 and 6. 5.2 and 6. Stroman going up against Lyles. Johnny K says it's 8.5 now. Dave Burke joining us says we like the Tigers first 5 under. Berkey, the market's gone quite heavy towards the over, and Noli has the strength, fortitude to trust himself, whereas I don't. So I'm off of that spot. Stroman hurt me badly in his last start. Got a 3-0 lead. Thought I was going to get my day off to a winning start, and it was the beginning of a 3-5 day on Friday, and I put a lot of the blame on him. Can he bounce back here in a stadium that he's very comfortable in Baltimore from his days in the AL East? Stroman, 2-5, 5.32 ERA, 1.23 WHIP, 47 in the third, 45 Ks, 12 walks. He's had a very interesting season because he has been so bad at Wrigley. Let's pull up his splits right now. At home, he is 0-3 with a 9.33 ERA and a 3.21 opponent's batting average. You get him out on the road, and he's been very good. 2-2, 2.79 ERA, 198 opponent's batting average. That makes me want to take him again. Makes me want to bet him again. Going up against Jordan Lyles, whom I want to fade every start. I do not believe in him, and he's got me a few times with really good starts, and this year, I've just kind of stayed away from his starts. He's one of those pitchers where I just dislike for whatever reason, and he seems to step up when I fade him. And he's looked good a couple times in starts against the Yankees. His last start was not good. It was at home, 5 innings, 9 hits, 5 runs, 4 of which were in 3 Ks, 2 walks. I want to fade him. I want the Cubs here. Cubs versus righties, 243, 714 OPS. Orioles versus righties, 232, 683 OPS. Cubs bullpen has not been good. 3.92 ERA, 1.26 WHIP, converted 13 of 23. The Orioles bullpen's been terrible. 3.11 ERA, 1.23 WHIP, have converted 10 of 15. Let's take a look at the line history and the cash flow in this spot. And the more I talk about it, the more I want the Cubs. There was a 10-cent move towards the Cubs. It's come back. So it's right where it opened at minus 125. And from a total standpoint, it did jump up to 9. It opened at 8.5, slightly juiced to the over. Jumped up to 9 at 8:56 a.m. It came back to 8.5 at 9:52 a.m. And it is a pick'em at this point. So Stroman, Lyles, 4,715 tickets in. And it's a coin flip. 49% of the tickets, 54% of cash on the Cubs. 83% of tickets, but just 66% of cash on the over. I find this game another very interesting, fascinating spot with moving parts. Take it away, Noli, Cubs, Orioles.
Yeah, definitely interesting. And we talk about Marcus Stroman is whether or not he wants to show up, and that's what I've always thought about with him. He decides when he wants to, and in big time situations, I expect him to show up. But when the game is just an average type of game, and maybe a pitcher that he's not really too fond of, doesn't really see as an ace, then he kind of just takes it easy. And that's something that I've noticed with him. If you look at even some of the starts that he's had, some of the dominating starts that he's had against some really tough opponents, Max Fried of the Braves, he went against Burns of the Brewers, he went against Gallen. He went against Gallen and the Diamondbacks, and then he went against Luis Castillo and the Reds. So all top pitchers, and even, I guess, Dylan Cease of the White Sox as well. All those 4 straight starts going against really top pitchers in the major leagues, and he showed up. And that's what I expect from him. And so in those spots, I'm willing to back him. In this spots against Jordan Lyles, really not. It seems awkward to think about it like that, but a guy that I'm not always trusting to be interested all the time. It's what I've seen throughout his career, and that's what I've backed, and it's worked for me. Other side, Jordan Lyles, also another guy hard to trust, but some of the overall numbers might say that we can't trust him at times, but tough against the Chicago Bats that really been hitting the ball well over the last 7 games, hitting 292, .448 slugging, averaging almost 5 runs a game. And so that's something that I see even here in Baltimore is runs. Over the last 11 games, averaging 10.7 runs in Baltimore, 9-2 to the over. And that's something that I noticed and I wanted to focus on because I looked at their overall numbers and it was 50-50. But I also remember Baltimore in the beginning of the game rattled off 15 straight unders. And I was on that train. I remember it well. And so I remember that. And that kind of sways the numbers because overall, Baltimore is back to being what it is, an over ballpark. And that's something that I see. So what I looked at, because some of the pitchers and some of the question marks with the pitchers, I started looking at some hitters. And one thing that I noticed is Wilson Contreras, his numbers both against Lyles. He's 4 of 7 with a home run and a double against Jordan Lyles. But not just that, he's got a hit in 11 of the last 12 games, 4 of those games being multi-hit games, has 3 doubles and 4 home runs in that span. So what I did, I took the over 1.5 total bases at plus 102 in this game for Wilson Contreras.
He's having a great season. Noli moving on. Wilson Contreras over 1.5 bases. And what was the number at?
Plus 102.
And Dennis Garcia totally agreeing with the Stro assessment. So the home road splits, the fact he's been so good on the road does not entice you to trust him here?
No, not necessarily. I mean, Orioles team, they're not really hitting much for average, but a team that does hit for a lot of pop. A guy maybe to look for on the other side, Mancini. He's 7-19 against them, but no, I'm not really interested in this game.
I was hoping we get I was feeling like we could get a bounce back performance. My guy says Orioles are hitting. Okay, I'm going to leave some question marks beside the Cubs and think about it a little more. Control Your Vessel says 2 mediocre pitchers here. Eric Jones on the over 8.5 says Baltimore is hitting. Nate Dogg agreeing with the over as a call. And Armchair MMA says if you take the Cubs, I think you want them to come out hot. I could see yes run first inning. LJ from H-Town says Orioles are 21-9 to the run line at home, 70% best in Major League Baseball. Okay, maybe that will keep me off. Don't forget, this Saturday we have our big Belmont Steak special, 11 a.m. Eastern it starts, and we go for 11 hours. We'll end after the golden hour in Santa Anita, and it's a wide open Belmont Steaks race. I'm having a tough time with it, but there's a ton of fun action. We get to see Flightline, so we get to see the fastest horse in the world run. Let's move on to 7:10 p.m. Eastern. St. Louis Cardinals 32-24, 16-13 on the road at the Tampa Bay Rays, 32-23, 19-13 at home. Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. We got Packy Naughton on the hill, 0-1, 3.09 ERA, 1.11 WHIP. It's a bullpen day for the Cards. He has started twice, Naughton. His last start, he went 2 1/3, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 4 Ks, no walks, and a 6-3 win at home over the Padres. Corey Kluber on the other side, 2-2, 3.73 ERA, 1.13 WHIP, 50 2/3, 46 Ks, 8 walks, 6 home runs. In his last start, he went 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 4 Ks, no walks, and a 3-1 win at the Rangers. He's pitching well right now. There's a couple starters in Kluber and Bieber that are pitching well right now that I have interest in backing, but I have not at this point. Cards versus righties, 248, 704 OPS. I'll get that for you in a second, not flush. Rays versus lefties, just 247, 668 OPS. Cards bullpen, 3.79 ERA, 1.28 WHIP, but have converted 13 of 19. Rays bullpen, very good. We've talked about this bullpen quite a bit, and I find them fascinating to break them down. 3.16 ERA, 1.15 WHIP, being very good, but have only converted 17 of 30 saves because to come in the ninth and handle that pressure costs money. Money that the Rays don't generally pay. All right, so we are in Tropicana for this one. Let's go to the line history. First, we have the total opening up at 141 this morning at 7.5, minus 115 to the over. It has yet to move. And we have a 20-cent move to the St. Louis Cardinals. They opened up at plus 150. They're now at plus 130. So a 20-cent move towards the Cardinals and this bullpen day. Let's see if the cash follows suit here. And this is the third spot where they've given full line value to a team, and that's these Cardinals. And it's not in yellow, so that makes me think that they're still figuring out the actual cash. But 53% of the tickets are on the Cardinals, and they say 99% of the cash. Maybe the sample size is small because there's only 2,887 tickets in. 54% of tickets on the over and 85% cash on the over. This is an interesting spot, and it makes me uncomfortable because I kind of like the way Kluber's throwing right now. Take it away here, Noli Cards, Rays.
Yeah, I definitely like the way Kluber's been pitching as of late, mixing up his pitches a little bit, having to try to reinvent himself, using the cutter significantly more than he ever has in his career, kind of getting rid of the four-seam fastball and as well as the changeup, cutting back on the changeup. So using the cutter almost 35% of the time, and he's had some success with it. Tough part on this part is on the St. Louis side, Naughton. They used him out of the bullpen. They've had him as a starter, but even whether it be in AAA or the major leagues, as a starter, he's never thrown more than 3 innings in any start, even whether minors or majors. So that's a concern for me when we look at this guy and how they're using him. I'm not really understanding the signals they're trying to send to him and how they're going to go about trying to build his career, but it doesn't seem like he's a big plan of their future. If you look at his numbers, he's given up runs in just about every appearance. So I'd expect Tampa Bay to get to him, but the concern is Tampa Bay really still not hitting the ball all that well, not hitting it consistently over the last 7 games, hitting under 200, hitting $187, averaging 3.4 runs. The under is hit in 5 of those 7 games. And Tampa Bay being an under ballpark, some that I would look at not automatically, but initially, and see maybe if I can get involved. 61% to the under there in Tampa Bay. But my concerns with St. Louis pitching and how they're going to come out here keeps me off the game. Kluber, I expect to have a decent game, but again, I can't trust the bats of Tampa Bay. So all in all, I ended up staying off the game.
Yeah, I get why you stayed off. The fact that there's been this big market move towards the Cardinals, and I don't really trust their bullpen. Makes me want to just stay off. And obviously, this is not the spot where I'm going to back Kluber if there's this big market move against him. So I completely get it. Next up, 7:10 p.m. Eastern, Texas Rangers, 26-29, 13-13 on the road at the Guardians, 25-26, 12-9 at home. We're at Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio, where our man Ick Schnizzle is right now. Let's take a look at the weather in Cleveland. 70 Fahrenheit, 10.6 miles per hour, right to left, but in. And then by the end of the game, it's completely right to left. So the first hour and a half, it's slightly in, then it's completely right to left. And rain comes in the final hour of the game. Let's move over to the line history in this one. We have Cleveland opening up at minus 165, a 5-cent move towards the Rangers at this point. We look at the total. We have this total opening up at 7.5, juice to the under. The first initial move was 5 cents more towards the under. Then moves to 7. That's where it stands right now. We're sitting at 7. Then we'll take a look at the cash flow, see if everything follows that. 5,422 tickets in, 24% of the tickets and 52% of the cash on the Texas Rangers and Dunning. So the 2 pitchers that I had interest in, maybe, and I can tell you what it is. It's a vividness bias with Kluber and Bieber. And I guess anytime they have a good start, I'm like, well, of course. Like it's just my mind playing tricks on me. They're not the pitchers we remember them being. And I have to say that out loud, so I'm consciously aware that my mind's just trying to fuck with me in that situation. We've had market moves against both Bieber and Kluber. And here we have the big bets coming in on Dunning. And big bets coming in on the under. 31% of the tickets on the under, 92% of cash on the under, and we've seen it drop a half run. Dunning coming in off a nice start at home to the Mariners. It was a 4-3 loss, but he went 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 7 Ks, no walks, 1.27 whip on the year, 63 Ks and 61 in the third. And I believe in Dane Dunning. I think he's a pitcher on the rise. Shane Bieber, 3-3, 3.12 ERA, 1.15 whip, 62 Ks and 60 and 2/3. His last start, he went 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, no homers, 11 Ks, 2 walks, and a 6-3 win at the Orioles. And we backed him and we cashed. And that's also playing in my head that I want to just go right back to the well with Bieber. And I'm not going to. Rangers versus righties, 228, 648 OPS. Guardians versus righties, 251, 720 OPS. The Guardians hit righties and have a great bullpen. 3.01 ERA, 1.08 whip, converted to 11 of 15. The Rangers bullpen's been really good. They're surprisingly good. 3.41 ERA, 1.24 whip, converted to 13-21. Another interesting spot here, Noli. Take it away. Rangers, Guardians.
Yeah, and the Rangers bullpen even better on the road, 2.52 ERA, almost a whole run lower on the road. So something that I did like to see. I did like to see with them, and also with Cleveland at home as well, pitching just over a 2.2 ERA at home as well from the bullpen. So something to take into consideration when we talk about this game. Bieber, always a guy that you want to back because he's just flat out got the stuff. His swing and miss rate, one of the highest in baseball, whether his velocity is there or not. The pitchers are just, if you watch the game, hitters are consistently swinging and missing at balls that are in the dirt. You're questioning why are they swinging at this? And that's just how filthy he is and the pitching repertoire that he uses. He's been consistent throughout the season. A guy that, honestly, when I look at him, automatically I would lean towards the under because of the way he pitches. You have half the equation with him. He goes deeper into games, and here going against Texas, that typically has been hitting the lefties a little bit harder than the righties. Against right-handed starters, specifically hitting just 222, averaging 3.7 runs against the starters. So a big advantage there for Bieber. He's only allowed 4 home runs all season. He's only had 1 bad outing, and that was at home against Toronto. So his home road splits a bit inflated there. For the other side, I think that's the question mark is Dane Dunning. The guy's been off and on throughout his career. Even when he came up with the White Sox, I backed him early on when he first hit the scene. It was great, and then he hit a rough patch and had to figure things out because guys adjust. This is the major leagues. He had a rough start against the Angels on a back-to-back start this year, and he had a rough start against Boston. But other than that, they've been some he's had some decent starts. Not going all that deep into games, but he's had some decent starts. The only concern here against Cleveland last year, he did get hit, 3 hits, 3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 earned runs. A bit of a concern here, but he's coming in off a very hot start, and that's very encouraging going forward. And I'd expect him to have success against Cleveland today. There are a couple guys that you might want to look out for, but he's had Jose Ramirez's number so far, and I'd expect that to continue. I took the 7.5, but 7 is where I'd stay off.
Yeah, yeah. I get it. Exactly. Let's just see if they can get a 7.5 at a decent price, or we'll just move past this one. Rangers, Guardians. Oh, I'm sure I can get you 7.5 at a decent price. Oh, no. Well, I thought I could because the under 7's plus 109, but no, 7.5 is minus 123. Do you deem that too expensive?
Not really. No, that's fine with me.
Okay. All right, we have an under 7.5 here with Dunning Bieber in Cleveland. Under 7.5 at minus 123. Minus 123. And your average line minus 105 in the first show you did with us. 4-2 day. It was very, very good. I see. I love having Elio in the chat. Elio says Bieber's good, but not at this price. And Spot says I'm off, but all my looks say Texas. And this was the gift for my man Elio when we were in San Antonio. Old Buck Knife. My man Elio, a.k.a. Buck Knife. Got me a Buccaneers hat. Respect Elio, my man. Okay, let's keep rolling. So we have another under here for Noli Knows. This time, market moving with them. Market moving with them to the under. And let's just go over this one last time. So it's moved from 7.5 to 7, and the big bets are coming in on the under. Too bad I missed that, because if I wanted a 7.5 here, I bet you they'd just screw me. There's a great fear at Bet365 in situations like this when the market is moving, the whole industry moving towards the under, all the big bets moving towards the under. They often screw you here. Let's just see what it is. If I wanted it as well, alternate total, minus 130. Still a tiny bit too expensive. Okay, let's keep rolling. But I like a minus 123. I see why you pulled the trigger, Noli. No, it's okay. Let's move on to 7:20 p.m. Eastern. Oakland Athletics 20-37, 13-14 on the road. Keep an eye on that road record. I mean, highly profitable on the road. At Atlanta Braves 29-27, 15-14 at home. We're at Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. We have Jared Koenig on the mound, and God, these lefties. These journeyman lefty. This is as tricky, I think, of any. There's a lot of angles I have when pitchers get called up, and this is extremely tricky. And we talked about Jason Alexander, and I was bang on my assessment of Jason Alexander and cashed the under, and I should have cashed the Brewers as well, but whatever. This is somewhat similar. I mean, Jason Alexander was undrafted, which is unheard of. Jared Koenig was a 35th pick in the 2014 draft, and he's 28 years old, making his MLB debut. You know that people cheer for someone like that. I also find that lefties coming up for whatever reason, and I shouldn't even say it because I don't have the numbers to back it up, but and then now I should just not say it, but I always find that lefties are a little tougher on batters when they first come up in that first start. They can be a little trickier. Here, Jared Koenig in AAA Vegas of the PCL League, where if you have an ERA under 5, it's impressive, has been unbelievable this year. 4-2, 2.21 ERA, 1.02 WHIP, 61 Ks in 53 innings with 50 walks, only 4 home runs allowed in the Pacific Coast League, where the ball flies. So you have this journeyman who is only getting an opportunity, probably because he's a year with the A's, but he's completely earned it. An unheralded kid that nobody cared about, 35th round pick, who's now in the show, going up against Ian Anderson, 4-3, 4.70 ERA, 1.40 WHIP, 45 Ks and 53 2/3. Ian Anderson's last start was a 13-6 win at the Rockies, but he didn't look very good. 6 innings, 10 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 homers, 9 Ks, 1 walk. The A's are the worst in the league versus righties, 203, 575 OPS, and the Braves are raking against lefties, 255, 792 OPS. A's bullpen 4.08 ERA, 1.38 WHIP, converted 13 of 21 saves. The Braves bullpen, and I've been saying this quite often, it just keeps getting better and better as the season goes on. 3.16 ERA, 1.17 WHIP, converted 18 of 29. Let's take a quick look at the weather here. 82 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 7.6 miles per hour right to left. Stays right to left throughout the game. Then we'll look at the line history here in this Braves spot. We have the total opening up juiced to the under minus 120. Now it's heavily juiced to the over. And there was a 15-cent move to the over from 8:28 a.m. to 8:37 a.m. It's now minus 125 to the over 9. And a 5-cent move towards the A's. So let's see if the money follows suit and makes sense of all this. 5,106 tickets in. All the money in on the Braves. Well, that doesn't make sense. Only a 5-cent move. There's been a 5-cent move against them. 88% of the tickets, 98% of cash. And we don't have cash numbers on the total for whatever reason, but 59% of tickets are on the under. And we've seen a big market move towards the over. This one's tricky, Noli. This one's really tricky. Take it away, A's Braves.
Yeah, definitely tricky when you talk about a guy at this age making his debut, but a guy that's fought his way, battled his way to get here, was playing independent ball for most of his career, went to Australia, played baseball there, looked extremely good, had an ERA like 1.1 or some of that nature, and ended up getting signed, and over the last 2 years just kept getting better in AA and then now in AAA. His numbers keep getting better and better. His FIP has dropped over a run. His K rate increasing. He's got a K rate over 10, 10.36. He's got 61 strikeouts in 53 innings. He's got a left on base percentage of 83.6%. and a ground ball rate of 43%. So a decent ground ball rate, and the guy hitting the strikeouts, and that guy that doesn't really have overpowering stuff, a guy that has a fastball sitting about 93 miles an hour, but some that I heard from the pitching staff and from his pitching coach specifically, he said he has incredible feel for the game. He reads hitters in situation and just knows what he wants to do. So he's got the confidence on the mound, and he's been very crafty in getting his strikeouts. So unfamiliarity with him going against this Atlanta Braves team, I would give him the early advantage to him, albeit that they're hitting lefties, but maybe not hit this lefty early on. Maybe some early first inning jitters with him. But at 28 years old and being through the things that he has been, I'd expect him to perform well early. On the other side, Ian Anderson, a question mark for him. Is this guy last time out was in Colorado, and before that had to face the Miami Marlins, bound back-to-back starts, and some that was proved to be difficult for him, giving up 4 earned runs each of those outings. But a guy that we've seen be able to pitch, and prior to that start, he actually was pitching. He actually pitched pretty well, going 6 innings at Milwaukee, 1 earned run, 5 innings, 5 1/3, only 3 earned runs against a good hitting Boston team, and then going 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run against the Mets prior to that. So prior to that, he was pitching really well, and honestly, I'd expect him to have a bounce-back performance against a very weak hitting Oakland A's team, a team that's bottom of the barrel and a lot of statistics. They're 30th in batting average, 29th in runs, 29th in both home runs and slugging. So if there's a bounce-back opportunity, this would be it. And I think the number has just been inflated a little too much, so I took a shot the first 5 under 5 in this spot.
First 5 under. I think this makes sense because we can expect Ian Anderson to have a much easier time than he had in the thin air against the Rockies, an A's team that's not hitting. And then the need will be for Jared Koenig to pitch decent against the Braves team that's raking lefties, but has no history with them. I think this makes sense here. Let's see what we can get you and compare it to what I can get and see if this is a tail situation here. Again, in this spot, we have 59% of the tickets on the under, and we don't know the cash flow. We know that there's been a big move to the over on the full game, but the A's bullpen's not too trustworthy. Let's see what we can get, Noli, here on the first 5 under here. Let's go. We have where the hell is it? What the hell's wrong with me? Here we go. Sorry, my bad. Here we go. And the first 5 is under 5 at -107. There's Chief in the house. Great to see you, Chief. Rand says good first 5 under as long as Atlanta doesn't go crazy. First 5, Noli, first 5, under 5, -107. Interesting. I'm going to put asterisks. Generally, when I put asterisks, it means I'm going to tail. But I'm going to add question marks to it. I want to look at it a little more. And I'm a little nervous just because of that big move to the full game over. But notice, of course, that Noli's focusing on the first 5 under and not the full game. And you know what? It just makes sense. It makes sense if you trust Jared Koenig. I think that maybe people see the lefty and they look at the numbers, Braves versus lefties, and think it's just an automatic move. All right. Okay, let's move on to 7:40 p.m. Eastern. But I do find that last look from Noli extremely interesting, extremely exciting. And I very much may be joining him here. But next up, we have got to a special point in our program. We've arrived at Taint is a bet that I am on, and rarely does this happen. Rarely does this happen, but I actually managed to squeak out slightly better number than Matty Ice. I'm on the first 5 -1/2 and -120. I bet this last night. Taint is in first 5 -1/2 and -125 for the New York Yankees. Taint. We're in Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I faded Chris Archer in his last start, and he pitched pretty well. I had the last laugh, but he pitched better than I expected him to. Going up against Nestor Cortez. Let's start with the weather here. And I like what I've been seeing with my White Sox future. I didn't get it at the perfect time, but I just don't think the Twins are as good as their record indicates, and they're dealing with injuries. And I do think that I need Eloy Jimenez on the next flight to the south side. 76 Fahrenheit, 10.6 miles per hour out to right field. It stays out to right field and dies down to 8.2 miles per hour. Let's go over to the line history in this spot here with the Yankees in business. And we have, wow, so there was a 20-cent move by 2 a.m. When did I get in? Let me just see when I got in here. I got in at minus 175. It's come back. That sucks. There was a 10-cent move back to the Twins this morning at 8:18. So I could have actually got a better move if I moved on it right now. That's frustrating. Total opened up at 8.5 and has moved to 9. It moved to 9 at 10:30 this morning. Let's take a look at the cash flow and see if it just follows there with this Yankees spot. We have 7,654 tickets in. 85% of the tickets on the Yankees, and we don't have the cash flow up for whatever reason. 64% tickets on the over and 61% cash on the over. It's moved up a half run. Nestor Cortez has been unbelievable this year. It's already a really good starting rotation. Then you have Nestor Cortez as the ace, and his numbers, he's got Cy numbers so far this year. I mean, he's just 1.50 ERA, 0.87 whip, 60 innings, 68 Ks, 14 walks, 4 homers, and seeing a small man on the mound pitching like that should inspire young pitchers all over the globe. 7 innings, 5 hits, no earned runs, 7 Ks, 2 walks, 6-1 win at home versus the Angels last out. Archer had a good start at the Tigers. 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run last out, and 3.89 ERA, 1.35 whip. Yankees are smashing righties. 251, 760 OPS. Twins, numbers are lefties are dropping. They still have a decent average, but the power numbers are dropping. 249, 718 OPS. Yankees bullpen, 2.99 ERA, 1.17 whip, converted 20 of 28. Twins bullpen, 3.95 ERA, 1.30 whip, converted 14 of 21. Big Ragu says if Archer gets rocked early, Twinkies bullpen is being worked and will lead to many runs. Mad Stoney says Cortez, automatic New York Yankees, -1.5. Take it away here for us. Noli knows I've doubled up on. Oh, we just lost Noli knows, so I will take it away. Sorry, Alex G. I hear what you are saying. And Wallaby King says Peralta got scratched for Screwball last minute, but Screwball pitched. It's Screwball pitched. It said that Peralta was going to come in.
It said Peralta. If you look at some of the books, it would say Peralta in, Scooble scratch, and then later it said Peralta scratch, Scooble in.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, so it did cancel some tickets for people.
Oh, well then that's how your first 5 ticket got canceled. It didn't cancel my ticket, thankfully. But because I had
that's what happened with Bovada.
Wow, so that's how you got screwed there. That sucks. Apologies if that's what happened, because I thought that my ticket was canceled because I looked at one thing and said that Peralta was pitching, and I was like, oh no, and then I went and checked and it was Screwball, and I had Screwball to start, and so I mean, but that must be the situation. That sucks. Sorry that happened to you, Jeffrey, taking money out of your pocket. Bullshit. Take it away here, Noli. This is a double up spot for me. It was a double up spot for me yesterday, and with the Yankees and the Blue Jays, I'm just going right back to the well, and here I am right back to the well. Take it away, Yankees Twins.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I don't really do often. It's something that I don't mention too much. But yesterday when I saw that Yankees line and the way it came out, I was like, hook Yankees to everything. There was no doubt in my mind, but a big reason I was really trying to back Tyon. I like the way he's been able to reinvent himself in a way with the pitching repertoire. I've mentioned that over and over and over, beat a dead horse, but that's what matters. These guys are major leaguers. They all have major league stuff, but it's how you use it that's going to determine whether or not you're successful. And so I like I like the way he was doing it. Nestor Cortez here today on the bump. The guy's been an absolute stud. All the advanced numbers are pretty much right there with him. I looked at his numbers first time through, second time through, even third time through the order, and he's so consistent. The batting average against stays right about 176, what he's been giving up on the season. So that's what I mentioned with him, consistency. The guy's been able to get out of some tough jams, and I believe he'd be able to have some success against Minnesota today. Big question mark, always Chris Archer. Last time against Detroit, I didn't necessarily back him, but I took the under in that game, really picking on the Detroit bats. That's something that I always talk about. He had back-to-back good starts against Detroit where he only gave up one earned run. And so against those weaker bats, I expect him to have success. But you look at all his advanced numbers, it indicate he's ready to get rocked. He's got an xERA over almost 1.4 higher than his overall ERA. He's getting hit hard. He doesn't really have very, very overpowering stuff. And here, facing a very tough New York Yankees lineup, it's hard not to expect the Yankees to light them up. So I think the only way to look at is the New York Yankees. I'm still surprised to see the number is where it's at, and I'm almost feeling the same exact way as yesterday. Hooked the Yankees to everything. That's how I feel.
Yeah, they're just playing really good baseball, and winning is
Best team in baseball?
Right now, but this is an old team that has to go through 100.
I'm just teasing.
But we know
the
we
Toronto
know
talk.
Yeah. I mean, look what's happened since they started with the Toronto talk.
Since you put it out there, yep.
Yeah, man.
I hear you.
Yeah, man. It's cream, man. Cash rules everything around me. Let's go. What do you want to make official here for the show?
For me personally, nothing really official. Not really my angles of what I take. I might be hooking them to another play that I really don't take. Like yesterday, I took the first 5 over in the Giants game. I hooked it with that one, got plus 200. So that's probably something that I'll end up doing.
I feel you. Well, let's talk about your Dodgers. Dodgers got off to a great start and scuffling a little bit of late, but they have a stud on the bump today in Tony Gonsolin. Let's go. 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Dodgers 35-20, 18-10 on the road at the White Sox, 26-27, 12-13 at home. Guaranteed rate field in Chicago, Illinois. We'll start with the weather here in Chicago. Possible light rain off the top, 60 Fahrenheit, 9.4 miles per hour to right field. Very cold in Chicago so far. I know we're still 2 weeks, I guess, before summer, but you would expect it to be warmer. It gets up to 10.2 miles per hour, but always between 9.4 and 10.4. Let's take a look at the... Sorry, let's move this here. Let's take a look at the line history in this spot. What the hell is going on? Sorry, I've got to fix this. It's a little messed up. While I'm doing that, instead, let's take a look at the cash flow, which I can pull up right now. Dodgers, White Sox, half line value on the White Sox and Cueto, 6,556 tickets in, 14% of the tickets, 22% of the cash on the White Sox, 69% of tickets and 99% of cash on the under. Let's take a look at that right now. Where the hell is it? Sorry, I'm a little slow on this breakdown. Here we go. The 15-cent move to the Dodgers got up 20 cents at 2 a.m. There's been 5 cents buyback to the White Sox. Then from a total standpoint, opened up slightly juiced to the over, which is where it stands right now. Cueto, last start, 8-3 loss at the Blue Jays, 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 of which were earned, 1 homer, 5K, 0 walks. He's been better than I expected him to be this year, 2.92 ERA. He's only thrown 24 2/3, but he's looked good, only allowed 1 home run. Dodgers hitting 252, 767 OPS versus righties. The White Sox are not hitting at all versus righties, 230, 619 OPS. And their bullpen's been bad, 4.13 ERA, 1.40 whip, 20 and 29. All this tells me with the White Sox 26 and 27 and dealing with the injuries and not hitting righties and the White Sox is that there's going to be a ton of value on this White Sox team in the futures market and moving forward. I was a little too early in the futures market, and I only took them to win the division. Maybe I should put a little flyer on them to do more than that, because I do think when Jimenez is back and Tim Anderson is back And if they want to make additions, maybe the problem is La Russa, and we're seeing veteran managers like Girardi and Madden get fired. Maybe La Russa should be on the block as well. Take it away here for us, Noli. Dodgers, White Sox.
Yeah, Dodgers, White Sox. You did mention something that's encouraging, and that's going to be the pitcher here today, Tony Gonsolin. Pitch White for me. White, a guy I'm not really high on, a guy that even the Dodgers not really sure where he's going to land due to some injuries. Had to use him for some innings, and he's pitched pretty well. But here, Tony Gonsolin, a guy that the Dodgers organization is high on, a guy that was pitcher of the year in the minor leagues at one point for the organization. So I expect quality start from him, because you mentioned the numbers against righties for the White Sox. Against right-handed starters specifically, 227, just 3.5 runs per game. And the under is hit in those games, 21 and 16. And on the other side, the Dodgers just the last 7 games, even the last 12 games, really aren't hitting the ball very well. Specifically, the last 7 games, they're hitting just 224, averaging just 3.3 runs per game, 4 and 2 to the under in that span, and 2 and 5 overall in that span. So really, if you're not putting runs on the board, you're not going to be able to win the game. And so that's what I see going into this game for Johnny Cueto. Is Johnny Cueto going to be able to completely dominate this lineup? Maybe not, but he's shown to be crafty at times, especially against these Dodgers. He had a start against them last year on July 29th. He went 5 2/3, went 4 hits and 0 earned runs. And you mentioned the weather and the conditions there. A lot of these factors are just pointing me in one direction. That's first 5 under 4.5. I pulled the trigger on that, but not to say there aren't some concerns with Cueto. Not a guy that's overpowering, but a guy that's crafty, a guy that can get out in the various ways, and a guy that I backed over his career. And I just really picking on the Dodgers bats inability to hit, especially early on in the first 5. And so that's the way I took it. First 5 under 4.5.
I like the breakdown. I agree with Cueto being crafty, but he's getting long in the tooth. Do you feel like that there's some value on the Dodgers first 5 -1/2?
Yeah, that would definitely be the way. I mean, they're hitting righties overall in the season. It's just recently what I've seen on this skid, hard for me to trust them, and just I don't really back the Dodgers too much, and so yeah, that's where I stand.
I mean, Rob Free saying the same thing. He says, I don't bet Dodgers anymore. But that team total over 4.5 sure is calling my name. There's Tease doing a great job with our WNBA coverage. Shout out to our man Tease in the house. Wow. Okay, well, let's first line chop for your first 5 4.5. Let's get that locked in. I do feel like the first 5 -1/2 is calling my name. If that's the case, I don't know why I wouldn't go full game -1 as well, because there's a bullpen advantage. Talk to me a little bit about the Dodgers bullpen that's not being quite as strong as we expected them to be.
I think the Dodgers bullpen, obviously I'm a Dodger fan, right? So they've been erratic at times, and some of the guys that I believe I question the decision-making from Roberts more than anything, me personally. That's something that I've always have. But overall, still a bullpen that I believe in. They've done better on the road. And some of the guys that he decided to go with, especially in that Pittsburgh's game, really questionable in my opinion. But I believe the bullpen will be fine.
Yeah, I think the bullpen will be fine. And do you expect the White Sox bullpen to – we thought this was going to be a top 3 bullpen, and they've been so bad this year. Do you have any explanation or expectations for this White Sox bullpen?
I think that's the difficulty. I think we've been expecting their bullpen to continue to get better over the last 2 seasons, and they've yet to show it. They have pitched better at home, but that is a concern for me. But we mentioned that towards the end of their bullpen as well. It's like you pay that money, you make these moves, and not getting it done. So tough spot for them.
The first 5 under 4.5 at -109 here. So do you agree? So let me see what I can get you over at here at Circa. Whoa, they've moved it to 5. Wow, they've moved this first 5 to 5. There's a 5 available at just -118, Noli. Would you prefer that?
I got 4.5, so we'll stick to 4.5.
Okay. Okay. 4.5 at minus 109. I understand that it's perceived that the Dodgers shouldn't be at this number and they shouldn't be this big a favorite on the road. But the way I see it, I think that Cueto is, how
Done.
often is this shimmy going to work? His little shimmy like it, and look, I know he's a big game pitcher and
I more so look at it as the Dodgers stressing and like start pressing a bit. And when you're dealing with these type of pitchers, you're going to be pressing a little bit more, so you can get those pop outs. A lot of frustration.
I feel like not plus says don't forget the Dodgers familiar with Johnny Q from San Francisco. Dodgers put up runs today. You know what? Let's pull up his. Excuse me, I'm still dealing with this sickness. Let's pull up his batter versus pitcher numbers, and then decide if I'm going to pull the trigger here. You have Bellinger hitting 280, Justin Turner hitting 375. What is this expected lineup here for the Dodgers here? Justin Turner DHing. Turner knows he can hit him. Bellinger knows he can hit him. I think I only need these two guys because this whole White Sox team hasn't seen Gonsolin. Why am I the only one who thinks that there's just a huge advantage here with Gonsolin and Cueto? I see this as a huge advantage. I don't care what happened yesterday. I'm not capping what happened yesterday or the day before. I don't care. I don't care what the Dodgers have been doing. I'm only capping today right here. And
it's definitely not Kopech. It's definitely not the same guy, So I definitely agree with you there. Me just not trusting bats, and I'm just more of a totals perspective. Especially the Dodgers, it just takes a whole lot for me to pull a trigger.
I am Johnny K with me, Cheshire Cat. Eric Jones says Gonsolin 6-0 Wise line minus 175. It's because the Dodgers have been losing. But that's not in my... Remember, we cut that. This is the second year in a row where we don't talk about what happened yesterday on the show. The Dodgers have been losing. So... okay. I'm going to pull the trigger on and back Tony Gonsolin here. And I'm going to back the Dodgers first 5 -1/2 and full game -1. I don't care if Sports Insights says it's half line value. I don't look. I'm going against a lot. I'd be very curious to see how I do today because they have full line value with Singer and the Royals. And I'm going up against that. Okay, so Noli knows is on the first 5 under 4.5 at -109. If anybody can see something better than that, let me go. Matt Stoney says definitely seen today's advantage for LA in this game. I'm going to take the Dodgers first 5 -1/2 and full game -1. Put my money where my mouth is, and I'm not nervous. 8:10 p.m. Eastern, Philadelphia Phillies 26-29, 11-14 on the road at the Milwaukee Brewers, 33-24, 15-10 at home. Yeah, no worries. Nola's just gonna grab some coffee. American Family Field in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Aaron Nola coming off a 6-5 win at home versus the Giants. He didn't look very good. I don't know what's going on with Nola. There's times when I think I guess I have this vividness bias of him being an ace, and he's not that guy anymore. 3-4, 3.92 ERA, 0.93 WHIP, 66 2/3, 79 Ks, 10 walks, 10 home runs allowed in 66 2/3. And he did not look good in his last start versus the Giants. Adrian Hauser, 3-5, 3.51 ERA, 1.40 WHIP, 51 1/3, 41 Ks, 23 walks, just 3 home runs allowed. He's been very good at home this year. Coming off 5-4 win at home. He went 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, no homers, 5 Ks, 3 walks. Phillies versus righties, 245, 711 OPS. Brewers versus righties, 238, 731 OPS. T's laughing at the I'm not nervous thing. Everybody knows I get nervous. Oh, we have a lot of action in play. And yesterday I wasn't. No leaky palms, no need for a bottle of Kraken, no need to pace. I was just ready to win. And I feel that way today. And I'll let you guys know when I'm like, palms are glistening and I'm nervous. I'm nervous about the Belmont on Saturday after my debacle at the Preakness. Phillies versus Righties, 245, 711 OPS. Brewers versus Righties, 238, 731 OPS. Brewers bullpen 3.50 ERA, 1.21 whip, 23 of 31. Mark Schillingberg says Ron Crawford is swamped, but the spreadsheet play today is the New York Yankees. So we have Taint on the Yankees first 5 minus a half. We have spreadsheet play today. Spreadsheet play of the day. Mark, I guess let's not bother him, but I wonder if he wants to go -1. But it is the Yankees spreadsheet play of the day as well. Eric Jones says Nola got smacked last game. He should be okay here. I'm on the under 8 here. And thank you for getting that information for us, Mark, my guy. Wallaby King said bottle crack and liquid confidence. Yeah, I have not needed it. Not needed it of late, but we'll see. I could come back here tomorrow and be right back in the red. Okay, let's take a look at the line history in Milwaukee. And we'll talk about where the cash is. We have a 10-cent move to the Phillies, -125 to -135. And from a totals perspective, it's over 8 at -115. Let's go to the cash in Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and see if that changes anything here. Nola Hauser, 4,678 tickets in, 51% of tickets, 61% of cash on Milwaukee, 34% of tickets, 59% of cash on the under. And we've already heard that the under is a bet here for, what was it? Who said that he was moving on it? I can't find it now. I'd like to look at the batter versus pitcher here because I do like both of these pitchers, but I don't know what the hell's going on with Nola. And is he really going to get out on the road? I mean, when there's a pitcher that I really believe in, and he gets in a situation where he's going up against a division rival, I think, oh, this is a nice spot for him to step up. We've seen that with Corbin Burns, But Nola, I don't know if the Brewers will bring the best out of him. And Renfroe hitting 385 against him. Lorenzo Cain 4 for 5 against him. Christian Yelich hitting 346 against him. And against Hauser, nice numbers on the other side as well. Castellanos hitting 348 against him. Mitch Schwarber and Real Muto don't hit him. This one's interesting. Let's hear what Noli has to say about it. Phillies, Brewers, American Family Field. Take it away.
Yeah, Aaron Nola, guy I've historically liked to back, and it seems like I've talked about him on more than I've talked about him. I feel like every season. I talked about him the last time I was on the show. I feel like I always talk about this guy. I'm kind of tired of this guy. No, I'm just kidding. But no, Aaron Nola is a solid pitcher. And yeah, he got roughed up last time out, but was able to eat up some innings. That's something that you see out of him. He does go deeper into games because they do trust him. Last time against Milwaukee on April 24th, he was able to shut this team down, going 7 innings, just 1 hit. And we look at the Milwaukee Brewers, a team that really hasn't been hitting the ball. They're averaging just 3 runs a game over the last 7 games, just hitting just 197 with a slugging of just 296. Only a couple guys that are hitting, and that's a concern here going against a tough pitcher like Aaron Nola. They have gotten him for a few runs last year, where he went 5 innings, 3 earned runs, but prior to that went 6 innings, 1 earned run in the 2 starts last year. So I'd expect Aaron Nola to have a bounce back start. Pitcher has a start like that. I expect him to. I like to back pitchers after a situation like that, especially this type of pitcher. On the other side, I think that's the question mark is Hauser. Hauser, a guy that I've had difficulty trying to figure out when he's going to have a good game. I tried to back him in certain situations where he had good numbers, and it didn't work out. Next time he had good numbers, and I didn't know how to interpret it. I stayed off, and he ends up dealing. So you look at his last couple of starts for Hauser, he pitched real well against San Diego, and he had just seen them 2 starts prior to that. So he has their number, and he continues to do well against them. Here against St. Louis, against Philadelphia, he's faced Philadelphia 2 times, both on the road, going 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 6 innings, 2 earned runs. So 2 quality starts against Philadelphia, albeit some of those numbers that you mentioned, but still overall having decent outings against them. He seems to be more comfortable at home. So I could understand why you would go towards the under with a simple recipe. Milwaukee not hitting, and if Hauser has a decent game, then should stay under the total. The question marks with Hauser and the way Philadelphia has really been hitting the ball, I'm gonna stay away from this game.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with it either, but I wonder if we should quickly pull up Hauser's splits because I've really liked backing him at home so far this year and have succeeded when I've done it. So I'd just like to take a quick look at Hauser's. You know what? Let's look at both
here.
Nola and Hauser's splits quickly. First off, Aaron Nola. Let's get to these splits here. Sorry, just take me a second. God, I mean, is Nola still an elite starter? At home, 4.41 ERA. On the road, 3.38 ERA. But, batters are hitting.
Hauser.
Well, yeah. But look at Nola. Batters are hitting 171 against him. But they've hit 7 home runs in 34 2/3 at home. That's why his numbers are skewed in that way. And then Hauser, I don't even know why I fear Nola. I fear that Nola's capable of at any moment throwing 8 innings of 1-run ball and makes me not want to fade him. But at home, Hauser's 2-2 with a 1.95 ERA and a 210 opponent's batting average. So he's pitching well. And then if Nola, we trust him on the road, why do you not have interest in the first 5 under?
I guess I should be looking at that. That's typically more so a play that I would be on, but I guess just the amount of action I'm on today. But definitely I like the play. Just I like other ones more.
I hear you. I'm going to see what the number is here.
I'm not betting 12 games today, Jimmy.
I had 15 games yesterday. And I wasn't, I was very calm, cool, collected. They're not giving me a 4.5. They're giving me a 4 if I wanted it, but it's no VIG. First 5 under 4 plus 100. It interests me. Well, Noli's not watching the game, but I can ask him, and I can ask him. James Lill is wondering if he should move on the under 7.5 live in the Tigers game. No runs scored in the first inning. Oh, you're on mute, my man.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I need that same number, so yeah, I like it.
All right, let's move on to the next spot on the board. 3 games left, then we have Durrell for NBA. 9:38 p.m. Eastern. Boston Red Sox 29-27, 60-13 on the road. Over 500, 2 games over 500 at Los Angeles Angels 27-30, 15-15 at home. We're at Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California, and we've come to the Say Hey play of the day. So please welcome to the show none other than our producer, Jose Bouquet, in the house. Jose, how are you, my man?
I'm all right. I can't complain, I guess. It's going to be a stressful evening tonight. Little self-plug here. We're going to be doing a live stream playback on the, if you want to go to Pub Sports Radio's website, and I'll show you guys right here, right now. If you go to Pub Sports Radio's website, and it's, of course, a lovely website, you can watch the live stream there, and you can watch all of the shows there as well. Let's share the screen here. There you go. Hello, but look at this. Look at this. You can see us there. There's look at our frozen faces right there. It looks great. And if you hit that little playback button right there, it'll take you to playback. And we will be streaming there live. It'll be a great time for sure. Now, let's talk about this game. But yes, I'll be watching Warriors Celtics there. Everyone can see me stressed.
That'll be fun. We all watch or enjoy watching you freak fuck out. It's a joy we have. But we're talking Red Sox, Angels. First, what is the Say Hey record that's been so lucrative this year?
That's a good question. We went 2-2 yesterday, so we're still up 12 units. Not really complaining. I think it's 12.02 now or 06. Let me double check and make sure. 03. So 194 and 187. up a little over 12 units. Your success has not rubbed off on me, and I will say this. We do talk about Helen Keller a lot on this program. I have been feeling like Helen Keller the last couple of days, just not liking these last couple of days of baseball betting. I went 2-2 yesterday. Red Sox over and Red Sox money line hit for me. But I just nothing I like today that much. This is the only game that really stood out to me, I guess.
So you got the over because Pete lost it because of the pitching change. Is all your stuff action?
Yeah, I usually. Well, for that one specifically, it was because we were waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for pitchers, and they just hadn't released a pitcher, so we kind of went with Detmers. I thought it was going to be Detmers too. I wasn't expecting Suarez, but yeah, I got lucky. I got the 8.5 and the money line.
Nice work. Sadly, Pete lost his action with Detmers not starting. Let's talk about this one. Eovaldi versus Detmers. Detmers 2-2, 4.20 ERA, 1 WHIP, 45 innings, 31 Ks, 14 walks, 7 home runs. He's a feast or famine guy, and I don't know exactly what to do with him. 4 1/3, 5 hits, no earned runs, 4 Ks, 3 walks, and 2-1 loss at the Yankees. He pitched really well in that situation. Eovaldi coming off a great start against the light-hitting Jays. 6 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, 8 Ks, 1 walk, and a 7-2 win. Eovaldi 3-2, 3.41 ERA, 1.09 WHIP, 67 Ks, 63 in the third innings, just 10 walks. Those numbers are great. But he's allowed 16 home runs this year, which is nuts. Red Sox numbers versus lefties continue to climb. 267, 770 OPS. Angels versus righties, 240, 725 OPS. Red Sox bullpen, 3.82 ERA, 1.22 WHIP, converted 9 of 21 saves. You added a converted save there to that statistic. Angels bullpen, 4.29 ERA, 1.21 WHIP, converted 14 of 21. Well, the Phillies won after their manager was fired. The Angels could not do the same. Let's go to the...
Tried their damnedest.
They did. They tried very, very hard, but did not make it through. Let's start with the weather in Anaheim. 75 Fahrenheit, 8.4 miles per hour out to left center. Drops to 6.9, always out, though wind blowing out. We'll go to the line history in this spot here. Eovaldi Detmers. It is a lot of movement in this game. The Red Sox got up to minus 170, but now they're down to minus 155. So a 15-cent move back, only a 5-cent move to the Angels from the opening line. And then from a total perspective, it opened up at 9 and is now at 8.5, juice to the under. So it's dropped to the under. Let's see if there's money that's come in on this under. 5,056 tickets in. 39% of the tickets, 55% of the cash on the Angels. 45% tickets, 73% of cash on that under. So it makes sense. It's moved to the under. Take it away, Jose. Say hey, play of the day. Red Sox, Angels.
I'm just going to keep riding the hot hand, essentially. I mentioned yesterday that the Red Sox need to win 3 out of 4 in this series, so they could take the full series, no more game 163, all that stuff. So I took the Red Sox team total over. Let me double check if it was 4 or 4.5. It was 4.5 at minus 115 for me. I think the Red Sox bash just keeps swinging it, I did look at the over as well, but my main concern for the over was just Nathan dominating and then the Red Sox having to get there by themselves. So I just kind of wanted to eliminate that variable, as my guy Cap would say, and not blush Allen, and just take the team total. Red Sox offense, like you said, smashing. This is kind of my Cap rule for what it was yesterday, basically. I thought the Red Sox would win, and I thought the game would go over. I kind of feel the same way today, honestly. But I just stuck with a team total over 4.5 at minus 115.
Team total over 4.5 at minus 115 is a say hey play of the day. Let's see what Noli knows is doing. Red Sox, Angels.
I mean, yeah, definitely can't argue with that. The 3-headed monster is scary over there. They got 3 guys just hitting the cover off the ball. Rafael Devers may be a guy to look at today. He hits lefties extremely well. High batting average, and he hits even better against lefties. Sorry, a little distracted from the game, but I'll turn that off. But but yeah, it's hard to go against that. This Boston team's been hitting the cover off the ball last 7 games, averaging 5 runs a game, slugging percentage a little lower than what you might think, but guys that are always getting on base and for good reason. I expect him to fade Detmers. I expect Jose to fade him, and I think it's a good look. The only thing is there's still a question mark with Eovaldi here in this game as well. You look at his last 2 starts against these Angels, one at home and one on the road. He gave up five earned runs, 5 2/3 against the Angels, 9 hits in Anaheim. Although it says LA, it's in Anaheim, their stadium. And then the 5 innings, 4 earned runs Nolan? At home. Excuse me?
How far is that from LA? Nolan, you're an LA guy. They're not the LA Angels. How far is it?
If you're talking like LA the city or LA the county.
I'm talking about what makes them an LA team. They're not an LA team. I'm just curious,
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Fair enough.
I like the breakdown. I'm not comfortable in this spot myself. Jose on the say hey play today. Red Sox team total over 4.5. Noli knows. Are you moving on this or staying off?
I lean towards the first 5 over in this game. I believe both pitchers could give up some runs in this game.
All right, there it is. Say hey play today's Red Sox team total over 4.5 minus 115. Jose's successful season continues. Who is the special guest on today's show?
Connor Mack joining us. Seamus. I was supposed to be Seamus, but he's having some electric Little League Baseball drama. Electric Little League Baseball drama. I can't wait. His son's too good, basically. They said, we don't want this guy to pitch, all this good stuff. So now, thankfully, the rain held off for him. He's in a championship game right now. And he might be, at this very moment, yelling at the parent who was talking shit about his son. So who knows? Who knows? He might not be with us. Might be in the county jail, but I'm excited to hear what Seamus comes back with. But it's Connor Mack. Connor Mack is the guest today. Shout out to Seamus, and I hope his son wins his championship game today. And you'll see me back on this show depending on what our next guest picks tonight. Because I'll say a lot of relationships are on the line tonight. A lot of relationships are on the line.
You've raised the stakes. Connor Mack's been very good on this show as well. 9 wins, 6 losses, hitting at 60%, plus 3.99 units with an ROI plus 26.60% and an average line of plus 110. So he's been very good on this show, and I'm sure he's been very good on your show. So check out Connor Mack today on Say Hey Plays of the Day, starring Jose Bouquet at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Great stuff. Jose's on the team total over 4.5 for the Red Sox. We got 2 games left. Let's go right into the next one. New York Mets 38-20, 19-12 on the road at San Diego Padres. 34-22, 14-11 at home. We're at Petco Park in San Diego, California. It is 68 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 6.3 miles per hour left to right across the diamond. But after the first hour, it starts blowing out. Not heavy, 5.6 and 5.1 miles per hour, but it starts blowing out to right field. So let's move on to the line history in the Padres spot. That is up next. We have the Mets opening up at minus 105. There's been a 20-cent move against them. They're now plus 115. Padres minus 135. From a totals perspective, opened at minus 120 to the over. It is now a pick'em. We'll see if the cash correlates with that in San Diego. We have 4,905 tickets in. 35% of the tickets, 31% of the cash on the Padres. So that doesn't really fit the bill. Then 79% of tickets, 81% of cash on the over. That's interesting because there's been a 10-cent move back to the under. So the market does not correlate with what's happening, or the cash does not correlate with what's happening in the market. Chris Bassett, his Little League coach, was star of the Taint Play of the Day, Matt Randall. Chris Bassett on the bump, 4-3, 3.74 ERA, 1.17 whip, 65 innings, 68 Ks, 21 walks, 11 home runs. In his last start, he went 6 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 of which were earned, 2 homers, 8 Ks, 2 walks, and a 6-1 loss at the Dodgers, going up against Sean Manaea, 3.77 ERA, 1.11 whip on the year. Last start, 5-4 loss at the Brewers was not on him. He was great. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 8 Ks, 2 walks. Mets rating 245, 706 versus lefties. Padres just 228, 644 OPS versus righties. Both bullpens. Well, the Mets bullpen's been good, except for the back end where they've only converted 15 to 25 saves, 3.56 ERA, 1.20 whip. Padres bullpen, 3.89 ERA, 1.17 whip, converted 20 of 30 saves. Here we go, Noli, second to last game on the board, Mets Padres.
Yeah, you look at Manaea. He's had 2 back-to-back starts, really good starts in which he was able to shut down Milwaukee, going 6 innings, 1 earned run. But also, that's But not to mention, let's also mention Milwaukee's a poor hitting team against the lefty. And then he goes 7 innings, 3 earned runs against Pittsburgh, another poor hitting team. Gave up 4 earned runs against San Francisco on the road. Going 6 innings, I guess that's a decent start going against a much better team against the lefty. So here going against the New York Mets, a big difference in class when you talk about hitting, but being that they were shut down completely yesterday, how does that affect today? You said it doesn't at all. I don't know. I think the bats will come out a little bit cold coming out against them. Excuse me. Coming out against them. On the other side for Bassett's proven to be very crafty. Sorry. Be very crafty throughout the season, and he's shown his advanced numbers pretty much say he's right about where he's at. He's right about a 3.5 ERA guy that did very well against the Dodgers. The only team that seemed to only really get to him this season has been the San Francisco Giants. And so I'd expect him to be able to come in here and have a really good outing against San Diego. They're really not hitting the ball that well, albeit they did put up a bunch of runs last 2 games late. But I think I'd expect him to have a good start. I think the big question mark is Manaea. I don't like trusting him overall. This is a pitcher's ballpark, so that's why I see the total being so low. But all in all, I'm off the game.
Yeah, interesting. I do think that Mets don't hit lefties hard. I can understand why there's some fear with Manaea, and the Brewers are terrible versus lefties, and Manaea hasn't been good all year. I was leaning to that first 5 under, but if you're not going to move on it, I'm not going to. Big Ragu says Manaea going to give up runs. Big Ragu, our special guest on tomorrow's card. And speaking, God, everybody's just winning on this show over the last few months. Big Ragu, another winner here with us, 21-18, 53.8%, plus 3.26 units, ROI plus 8.36%, average line plus 102. I mean, it's just every guest is coming on the show and giving us winners. Okay, we are off that spot. Let's talk about the last game on the card. Colorado Rockies 24-31, 8-15 on the road at San Francisco Giants, 29-25, 13-12 at home. We're at Oracle Park in San Francisco, California. 55 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 12.7 miles per hour to straightaway center. It dies down to 10.6, always to straightaway center. Take a look at the line history in this one. Senzatella versus Alex Wood. We have a 28-cent move to the San Francisco Giants. It was a 33-cent move, but it's come back 5 cents. So opened up minus 192, and now is at minus 220. This total opened up at 8, moved to 8.5, and this morning went to 9. So it's gone up a full run, this total. Now let's take a look at the cash and see if it all follows suit here. 6,279 tickets in. 88% of the tickets, 99% of the cash on the Giants, and the market moving in their direction. Then 92% of tickets, 92% of cash on the over, and it's moved heavily in that direction. Senzatella, 2-3, 5.40 ERA, 1.97 whip. He's not been good this year. 14 strikeouts in 35 innings. That's terrible. But he's only allowed 3 home runs. That's good. Last start, he got touched. 5 1/3, 13 hits, 6 earned runs. They lost 14-1 at home versus the Marlins. Alex Wood coming off a 3-0 loss at the Marlins. We cashed that first 5 under 3.5 with him on the bump. He went 5 1/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 Ks, and 2 walks. He has a 4.66 ERA, 1.43 whip on the year. 50 Ks in 48 1/3. Rockies are hitting 257.03 versus righties. Giants are hitting 244, 727 OPS versus righties. And both bullpens are really bad. Giants bullpen has been awful after a good start. Rockies bullpen has just been bad all year. Second worst in the league, 5.10 ERA, 1.46 whip. But interestingly enough, the back end is quite strong. Converted 16 of 22 save opportunities. Take it away, Noli. Last game on the card, Rockies, Giants.
Yeah, this game game had a little different angle than people might expect. Same way that I did yesterday. I'm leaning towards the first 5 over here, and a big reason for it, the way the way the Colorado Rockies have been hitting the left-handed starters specifically. Against left-handed starters, hitting 279, averaging over 5 runs a game. Oh, yeah. They're averaging about 5 runs a game over the last 7 games as well. San Francisco also averaging about 5.6 runs per game over the last 7 games. And you saw them last time against Senzatella on May 10th. Senzatella went 3 2/3, giving up 7 hits, 5 earned runs in that outing. So really struggled against San Francisco and struggled the very next outing as well. We got yanked from the next outing after 2 innings, got hurt, and then when he came back against Miami, got lit up once again. So hard to trust Senzatella in this spot. And for me, when I look at how these teams have been hitting, specifically against their opponent, there's only one way for me to look in this game. It's going to be first 5 over. I haven't made a move in that game yet, being that Alex Wood did have a good start against Colorado at home. He went 5 1/3, 7 hit, 1 earned run. So kind of making me think that maybe he puts together a decent start. But all in all, I still lean first 5 over 4.5.
And my apologies for giving the stats with the Rockies versus righties when they just lead the league against lefties. I don't know why I didn't have the L there. My apologies, but great catch there. Thank you, Noli. Noli leaning to the over. I can't move on the over if there's been a full run. I know you're talking about the first 5, but I missed the spot. I should have been on this first 5 over last.
Yeah,
night.
I did first 5 because trying to isolate the value on the starting pitchers and not trying to get involved with that ballpark. That ballpark eats up some runs. Saw yesterday, first full game, once it moved to 8, you're going to get a push. First 5, you cash it comfortably.
Yeah, and I pushed the over because I got in late. And usually I don't do that, but Pete was so confident in the over. I was like, okay, let's just do it. And of course, it pushes in the first 5, as you said, catches comfortably. That is your MLB card with Noli Knows, fresh off a 4-2 first show with us. And he's looking to add. He's on the Tigers Pirates under 8 at plus 100. That market moved against him. And the live total right now is 6.5. So he's looking good there. Blue Jays, Royals. I'm on the Jays full game -1. I got a -116. I got -150 on the money line, plus 115 on the run line. Diamondbacks, Reds, we have stayed off, and we stayed off Mariners, Astros. The next spot on the board for Noli is the under 7.5 in Nationals, Marlins. Then he's on Wilson Contreras over 1.5 bases at plus 102, and I have interest in the Cubs. I have interest in Stroman bouncing back, but I've got question marks around it, so I'm going to study that after the game. Cardinals, Rays, we stayed off. Noli's on the under 7.5 at -123 in Rangers, Guardians. He's on the first 5 under 5 at -107 in Oakland, Atlanta, and I like that. I like that look, and I love the breakdown of Jared Koenig going up against Anderson. I think I'm going to join him on that. Spreadsheet play of the day is the Yankees. Taint play of the day is the Yankees first 5 -0.5, and I'm on both. I'm on the Yankees first 5 -0.5 and the full game -1. I bet them last night. Noli's on the first 5 under 4.5 -109 in Dodgers White Sox, and I'm moving on the Dodgers first 5 -0.5 and full game -1, and the first 5 under 4 at plus 100 in Phillies Brewers. I plan to move on as well. Say hey play of the day's Red Sox team total over 4.5 at -115. Mets Padres we stayed off, and Rockies Giants we stayed off. I love capping baseball with you. We did get the we have a picture of the comment that was given to you by Puzzler. One of the nicest, a very nice comment from Puzzler that we will keep. He says, Noli is a pleasure to listen to. A great source of pertinent info with a concise, crisp delivery. Sounds good, man. Sounds really good.
Was he listening to me, or I wasn't sure. He might have tuned in somewhere else.
We love you, man. It's great having you back in action, and we want a lot more of you here on the show. Get that cash today. Follow Noli on Twitter. He's a great follow, at Noli Knows. Noli, any last words for the cappers supporting the show?
Oh, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate everybody, and thanks for having me once again, Jim.
Oh, we love it. We love it. You'll see a lot more of Noli Knows right here on Pub Sports Radio. All right, we have a huge game coming up next, as big as games get. Game 3 of the NBA Finals, and your guest has been so good all year long. Coming in with a record of 101 wins and 72 losses, hitting at 58.4%. plus 24.13 units, ROI plus 13.95%, average line minus 104. He is with us again on Friday, but he's running out of opportunities to get to that 60% plateau. By the way, that plateau we have still reached by Dutch Boy Fresh. Dutch Boy Fresh had the very tough Game 7 of the Mavericks Warriors, but he's still over 60% plateau. He's 53-34 at 60.9%, plus 17.20 units ROI, plus 19.77%. These two cappers have been absolutely exceptional. And we have Durrell for games 3 and 4 here on Betting with the Bag. Please welcome our guy coming to us from Los Angeles, California. It's Durrell in the house. What's up, my guy?
Yo, what is good, Jay? What is good, brother? Happy to be back, man. It was like a week off last week. And good to be back and talk some fucking ball. Good to be back and talking some ball, man. My mantra I started with, any day on this side of the day is a good day. And thanks for everyone who reached out to me, the messages, the calls, and just a great group of guys and gals here. So I appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it. Let's talk of this game, man. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. But yes, there's enormous amount of love for you in the community. You're a great guy, and we're thankful to cap with you.
Appreciate it.
We love it. We love it.
Appreciate
So,
it.
and what the wonderful thing about sports is it can take us away at times when we need it, and we can just put on the blinkers and focus solely on sports. And this is a great group to do it with. And,
Absolutely.
We love you, man. So know that unconditional love from us to you, Durrell. And I know it's been tough for your family, and we just have so much love for you and can't wait to talk about Game 3 of the NBA Finals. And I know I already Jose is very nervous.
I know
your take here, and I already know your take. And I don't want to give a little hint. I don't want to give a little. I just want it all to be fresh. So let's get to work. Golden State Warriors at the Boston Celtics TD Garden.
Yes.
It's Boston. Harold Williams says I'm rolling with Boston today, but he's got the Warriors in 7. We got Nasty Nate.
Oh, you know what Nate's doing.
Trifecta. Nasty trifecta Nate. We got Jose Bouquet and his milky shoulders out with his Celtics jersey. His leche tits can be seen if he gets on the screen. So we got a lot of passion in this group. Let's talk about the situation first. Let's go to line history in this one. Game 3 of the NBA Finals. I love the matchup. We have the Warriors opening up at plus 3.5 at 10:42 p.m. 3 days ago, and no movement whatsoever.
No movement.
Mm-hmm. No movement.
So
let's talk about the money line. See if that has had a 5-cent move to the Warriors. So that opened at plus 140, now plus 135. That is the money line. From a totals perspective, opened up at 213, and I don't know if there's been as easy as a cash as we had on the under 215.5. In game 2, and that was my only bet on it. I wish I had gone with the Warriors with you guys, but I did not. Opened up at 213, went down to 212, and it's now up to 213.5. And the 1-point move from 212.5 to 213.5 happened 59 minutes ago. A full point move to the over. So let's see if the tickets correlate with those movements. 28,560 tickets in. 54% of the tickets and 66% of the cash on the Golden State Warriors. The big bets coming in on the Warriors. 49% of tickets and 71% of the cash on the under, and yet it moves up a full point. Very, very interesting. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to set a quick table. First off, pace-wise, there's not a ton to talk about, although it did speed up a little bit in Game 2. Remember, they were at 93.5 possessions in Game 1, and I was like, they're not going to shoot like that. And if they play at that pace, it's going to go under easily. They didn't shoot like that. It did speed up a bit. Was it at about 97.5 possessions a game? So after 2 games, it's at 95.5 possessions a game.
Yeah.
And the Warriors played 98.74 in the regular season. The Celtics played 97.26, but in the playoffs, Celtics played 95.88, which is right around where it is. Okay, so here we go. Warriors tied up the series with the big 107-88 win in Game 2. The 88 points by the Celtics is a playoff low. And this is a enormous game.
Right.
Over the last 39 NBA finals that saw the first 2 games split, 82.1% of the teams that won game 3 won the series. 32 of the teams that won game 3 won the series. Now, the Celtics are just 5-4 at home in these playoffs. The Warriors have won at least one road game in each of its last 26 playoff series. That's an NBA record that goes back to 2013. They're 3-4 on the road. Clearly are road warriors. Not only that, but the third quarter dominance continues, something that you've been cashing all year long.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Third quarter dominance. Game 2, they outscored the Celtics 35-14, and that lead went to 23 points. Steph Curry's been very good. 63 points, leads all players, 21 made field goals, and 12 3-pointers, leads all players in all 3. Jordan Poole, 5 3-pointers, 17 points off the bench in game 2. The problem, Klay Thompson, 10 of 33 from the field, 4 of 15 from 3. You have Iguodala, who sat out game 2 with inflammation in his right knee, played 12 minutes in game 1. He's got the right knee injury. He's questionable. So is Gary Payton with the left elbow and Otto Porter with the left foot. Tatum went 3 for 17 from the field in game 1. Brown went 5 for 17 from the field in game 2. You think that they both have to have good games, and the Celtics can't turn the ball over the way they have. They turn the ball over 19 times. They're 1-5 in the playoffs when they turn the ball over 16 times or more. Robert Williams is listed as questionable with left knee soreness, and he's missed only 1 of the last 9 games, despite what's called constant knee pain.
It's his knee. Yeah.
Here we go, Daryl. Table is set. And I do want to open the opportunity for Jose to come in at any point he chooses. At any point Jose wants to fire in. You choose, Jose. You choose. Here we go. We have It's Daryl and his 58.4% record on this show. You've been spectacular this year. Game 3 of the NBA Finals, Warriors, Celtics. How are you getting paid?
Yeah, let's talk this out. So I'm going to go first off and say I made quite a few bets already on this game. And some I just kind of like what we like to call Starbucks money. But this is where I'm going to say probably some of your better bets are. The first one is I'm taking Golden State money line tonight. I'm taking Golden State money line just to win this game outright. I also took them at the plus 3.5. So if they both lose, oh well. But the line not moving should tell you something, right? And the fact that it's at only 3.5 should tell you something. Everybody is going to point to that Boston not losing back-to-back games. They just don't do it, especially haven't done it in the playoffs. At the same time, the Warriors had never lost a home game. So this can't happen type deal scenario to where it's something not happening. I really don't buy it. This could be the same way that Warriors lost game 1 at home. Boston could lose 2 back-to-back games. They could do that. So I do understand that stat. That's a strong stat, and if you want to hang your head on that, that's fine. That should be a reason for you to bet Boston already. With me, I looked at the first game, and the first game told me a lot. It told me that they still don't have an answer for Steph, right? So as bad as people want to talk shit on Steph or just badmouth him and say he's just not what he was, from 2014, 2015, that defense sure isn't thinking like that. So you can see them where he gets the attention of 4 players, a box and 1. Their defenses are kind of set up to really still contain him. And the reason why there's a lot of attention put on Steph is the fact that Klay Thompson just hasn't been there, right? He's not there just yet. So you have one of the Splash Brothers who's really not playing well at all. You have game 1 that goes off where Golden State is just on fire and they have a fourth quarter meltdown. On top of that win, you had your role players had to shoot at about 65% from the 3. 65% from the 3 to win that game, right? So in my opinion, if I'm looking at how that meltdown happened in the fourth and how well Boston had to shoot in the fourth to come back and eventually win the game, we would want to see that kind of transfer over into game two. And it didn't. It didn't. You saw Golden State, specifically Draymond Green, be very, very physical. So now here we have a lot of moving parts here. We see the Boston team actually get frustrated. But what I like about Boston is they've mentally, or you would have thought so, prepared for Draymond's antics. And a lot of people are going to believe Boston lost that game because there were a lot of calls that did not get called. It was like the refs swallowed their whistle. Dre should have had a tech that game with Jaylen Brown. He should have been thrown out. There was a lot of fouls that should have been called. Look at the game, man. Jordan Poole was fouled. Steph Curry was fouled. So now maybe the officiating here in this game kind of tames that down. You don't think that Dre knows who's reffing the game and what he can get away with? You better absolutely believe he does. You better absolutely believe he does. So there was a lot of chattering going on. And at one point in time, there's a foul call. And Tatum had to just be, you saw his lips, just play ball. Take ball out. Just take the ball out. Don't worry. Let's just try to ignore him. But in spite of all that, he was able to get under Jaylen Brown's skin. He was able to get under Al Horford's skin. And if you listen to the mismatch, O'Connor broke that down to where Draymond was really lazy on his help defense and his rotations in game one, and then he stepped it up game two. So game two happens, and they smack Boston out the fucking gym, right? Steph isn't even playing fourth quarter, and you still don't have one of the Splash Brothers who's really playing well at all, who is playing well at all. So, in my opinion, I believe you've seen the best that the Celtics can give the Warriors. Either they're going to be really, really hot and shoot 65% from the three with the role players, or they're not going to be there, and that defense is going to suffocate them, and they're going to shoot 11%. So you're seeing a more consistent play out of Golden State, in my opinion, than Boston. Boston's up and down. So I do like the fact that the Warriors feel like they can go into game three and win this game. And I believe they will. Now, game four, I believe Boston gets. I do believe that. I believe Boston will make the adjustments that they can and get game four. This is another thing I looked at also. If Time Lord doesn't play today, that is a huge, huge issue for Boston. Because Time Lord helps the paint to where they cannot go inside at all. You had saw him blocking shots. You had saw him clogging up the paint to where it was more of an outside game. And so now if you take Time Lord off the court and you got Tice baby in there playing, well, he's got flat feet. So he's going to get beat at the step. And that's what Curry did to him. That was a foul by Tice where he just hip checked the shit out of Curry. Right? So these things Time Lord is going to be able to present on the defensive end of it. It's not going to happen if he's not playing. And I do believe that's why you haven't seen the line move as it should, because if Time Lord doesn't play, you're going to see this get to three. If he's called out of this game at all, Jay, it's going to get to three. So with all that rambling I'm saying, I believe you can have a better game out of the Golden State Warriors than a better game out of Boston. You're not going to shoot better than 60%. Right. And you see the defense by Boston that they're willing to present, and it's still not good enough. That was not a win, in my opinion, by Boston in the game one. It was more of a meltdown of the Golden State Warriors, in my opinion. So now you got a stronger whistle probably coming into effect today. Right. But it's still not going to take away from the defensive intensity. So now that you got Golden State as dogs, I'm in this position to believe that they can outright win this game by Boston because you still haven't got good play from your main guys. You have the points at 19.5 for Klay Thompson, and he got his threes at 4. And this guy was playing the majority of the game just to see if he can try to get off. So I'm setting this table to tell you that this is a game that Golden State will probably get beat up a little bit, but in the long run, they are going to still be able to stick it to Boston and beat Boston. I'm confident in the money line only because if Time Lord doesn't play, that changes a lot of everything. that changes a lot of things. Saturated's point, another play I did make is Golden State plus 1.5 first quarter. A lot of people were on that play in game 2. This is the game to take it. They have beat Boston every first quarter. They got him 38 points in the first quarter in the first game, 31 points in the first quarter in the second game. So now you keep them as dogs. Remember, Steph Curry plays that whole first quarter. So now you got a position to where Golden State is dogs and they could come out and technically win the first quarter. And they're scoring more than their average. So first quarter, Golden State at plus 1.5, Golden State money line, Golden State plus 3.5. That's the plays I like here on top of some props as well.
And do you want to make those 3?
Those are official. Those are official.
Okay.
Golden State plus 1.5 first quarter, Golden State plus 3.5, and Golden State money line.
Interestingly enough, when I said that, there's been no movement at Bet365, but there's been movement almost everywhere else. Almost everywhere else is hanging 3s now.
That's because we're getting around that time now to where you've got the shoot-arounds and things like that. I don't think Time Lord plays. I don't think he plays. And this is something that a guy that I admire most, Ski, he was talking about it in his room, in his basketball room. And they said, Marcus rolled over on his knee in game 2. You saw that. And he stayed in there. He's a tough guy, man. Surgically repaired knee, and this guy's playing. He's already not 100%. You had 2 days rest, right? Wouldn't it be advantageous of the Celtics to let him rest game 3 because you got a quick turnaround for game 4 because it's only a 1-day rest here versus the 2 days that you generally get, and let him play game 4. And so now it's panning out now to where you saw the news on yesterday, Time Lord questionable today. And if he's questionable and he doesn't play, you give him like another 3 to 4 days rest and he could come in and they could turn around and win game 4 when he's a little more healthier. So it's just a scenario that could play out. And once I saw the questionable, I'm like, yeah, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. I would not be surprised if Time Lord does not play today just to get him the extra rest for game 4, in which I believe Boston can win.
Wow. Great breakdown. Very angry man backstage. Oh,
that was odd. I'm going to say this as nicely as I can. Probably the worst 15 minutes of my life that I just spent. Let's just do this now. Daryl, get the fuck out of here. Rob Williams is going to play tonight. That is a first guarantee. He is going to play tonight. He's been questionable all playoffs. He's going to play tonight. He's been playing on one leg. Warriors are going to lose tonight. They're going to lose the first quarter. They probably will in the third quarter because that's what they do. But they're going to lose tonight again. Celtics win tonight. They shot 60% in the big bad fucking Chase Dome, whatever it's called now. All the role players, they play better at home. The Golden State Warriors, again, I will say this until I am blue in the face. The Golden State Warriors have one amazing elite player in Stephen Curry. The only player I respect on the floor. Klay Thompson is as washed as my fucking underwear. Jordan Poole is horrific. He's a horrible basketball player. He can only hit 3s. That's it. If he was on any other team, he'd be terrible. I'll be nice to bring Daryl back on just so I can see him in the face when I say it.
How old is Jordan Poole? How old is Jordan Poole?
Horrible. He's like 12 years old. He can't play in the finals. He can't play like a defense. Only time he can play is when it's 40-point game. That's the only time he can do. He's terrible. I hope he plays the whole game because the Celtics are going to
And what happened with your shooting game too? What happened with your shooting in game?
Congratulations. He can shoot when they're up.
No. Not Jordan Poole. 20 points. Not Jordan Poole. What happened with Boston shooting? Daryl, that's not the point. What happened with Boston shooting?
Jordan Poole is horrible.
What happened with Boston shooting?
Horrible. Draymond Green, please
lower your blood pressure and tell me what happened with Boston in game 2.
It's so high.
What happened with Boston shooting in game 2? What happened with Marcus Smart and Al Horford shooting in game 2?
Congratulations. They had a bad game. The Warriors, good defense.
They did.
Yes. But you know who didn't have a good game? Jordan Poole. He's not going to do shit tonight. Klay Thompson's not going to do shit tonight.
Did you even hear me mention Jordan Poole?
Yes, you talked about it. You said Jordan Poole, the third splash brother. Here he comes.
No, run it back. I didn't even mention Jordan Poole. I said Klay Thompson still hasn't had a good game.
And he sucks too. He can't drive by anyone. He's so washed. The Celtics win tonight going away.
In spite of all that, you got your ass handled by 30 fucking points.
Yes, and the Warriors
with whack-ass players. With whack-ass players. You got handled, and you got handled
is the
all in every quarter of the game one.
Yeah,
you know this should be 2-0.
No, I should be 2-0 Celtics. The Warriors are not a better team. Line them up.
They're not a better team.
No, the Warriors have Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry is the best player on this court. Not even close. I'd say he's the top 10 player in basketball. If you watch the defense, they're all over Curry. And that makes everyone's life so much easier. And I respect.
And in spite
Curry.
of all that, in spite of all that, the motherfucker is still averaging 30 points against your Boston defense.
Yeah, he's great. He's phenomenal. Yeah. Everyone else on the Warriors is horrible, though. And
so
I can't wait.
All I gotta say is this. All I gotta say is this: if you can't stop Steph Curry, what's going to happen when the other guys heat up?
They're not. That's the issue.
Okay.
That's the whole issue.
Fair enough.
In the Garden, role players in the Garden, the best home court advantage in the playoffs.
Fair enough.
No chance, dude. Get Gary Payton out of my fucking face. Get Otto Porter, who's washed 3 years ago, out of my fucking face. Jordan Poole, the fucking cheapest, dirtiest player on the court with Draymond Green out there. It's a fucking joke. And I didn't even mention the refs.
At all.
Oh, my God. The refs were horrific.
You couldn't shoot it all. And the bad thing about it is, I don't know who's crying more at this point, the Boston team in game 2 or your fucking ass right now.
I'm both of us because it's bullshit.
Because you guys
I'm glad Scott Foster's here to bring some fucking levity, some order into the NBA, this horrible league. What a joke this is. The Celtics are the better team, and it's not even close. And I can't wait to Draymond Green to get teed up in 2 minutes.
Why would he get teed up?
Because Draymond Green he's out of control on the court. He's a fucking animal last time. He didn't know what he was doing, just running over players. Horrific calls. We all know what Adam Silver does, Daryl. You've said it plenty of fucking times on this program. Adam Silver and the refs. The extender's here for a reason. Celtics in 5 games. I've said it. They win the rest of these games. All the rest of them, both at home, and they go into that shitty Chase Center and beat them too.
Okay. So all I gotta say is, Jose, you're just completely full of shit. That's all I gotta say. And you're talking like a complete homer right now. Absolutely a complete fucking homer right now. Because your boys got mentally and physically beat down in game 2. And it was so fucking bad that you couldn't even put Jaylen Brown and Tatum on the floor together. You couldn't even put them on the floor together second half. So all I got to say is keep that same goddamn energy for the rest of this goddamn series, because there's no way in hell in the ball that I'm watching that you can convince me at this point that Boston is the better team. They've got to be consistent. And we're not going to talk about I know, it's one of those things to where it's hit or miss, but your boy Jason Tatum, wasn't he at a minus 35 on the court with the team? And this is your saver? This is your fucking king?
We're plus minus is the end all be all stats of the NBA now, guys.
I'm just
plus
saying.
Minus. That's what we care about. I care about wins, and we'll get one tonight.
Wait, Jose, stay. We need to hear your official
action. Always money line. It's always money line. I'm betting the Celtics money line every game. I don't care about.
So you can't even
going to win the game.
You can't even. Okay, so these games have been blowouts. These games have been blowouts. There has not even.
The NBA sucks. The NBA sucks. That's what it is. I mean, sorry.
So you
the National Blowout Association.
So you're gonna sit here looking like fucking SpongeBob SquarePants and not gonna take the plus minus 3.5, bro?
No, I'm gonna take the money line because I think they win the game.
So you're losing value in taking the money line.
Yes, because they're going to win the game. I mean, if they cover the 3, I couldn't care less. They're going to win the game.
Oh, okay. Okay. All I say, Godspeed to you, but I don't see it. Now, if we want to talk game 4, which will be on Friday, you and I will be BFFs because I do believe Boston will get that. But game 3.
Well, I don't know. They're probably going to win tonight. You'll probably be on the Warriors again. So we'll see about that.
Not at all.
We'll see.
Not at all.
Wow. Wow. That was a little excitement here
I know.
for the end of
I
the
know.
show. Jose's riled up.
He's
and,
riled up, bro.
He's
riled up.
nonplussed either. I don't think he doesn't seem pleased backstage. He's,
No. I've told everyone the whole time the Warriors are just not a better squad. I mean, Jordan Poole's the dirtiest player on the court, and he's horrible. And he's just like Trae Young, and Trae Young's awful too. They're just all the same people. They're the millennials that you guys talk about, the guys that, it's all about shooting. And that's what Jordan Poole is. No defense, nothing.
Jose,
Softer
aren't you a
than baby
millennial?
shit.
Aren't you a
No,
millennial?
I'm a year older than them. But yes, I am. Technically.
After you get that rant out, you're supposed to feel better. But I see
know,
him
man.
backstage.
Jose
He's-
is-
No, I'm
Okay.
angry. I'm seething angry because I'm remembering Jordan Poole fucking reaching up and trying to trip Derek White, and the rest of the thing. No, he's defending himself. No, crazy bullshit, stupid fucking league. This NBA.
Bro, Jose's gonna be mad as fuck tonight, dog.
Yeah,
He's gonna be mad as fuck tonight. I guarantee.
And
you.
watch it all live on the playback. You can find the link on pubsportsradio.com.
I can't. I wish I could be on at the playback with everybody. It's my brother-in-law's birthday, so we'll have the game on. But
Listen, you could talk about this until I'm fucking blue in the face, as Jose is right now. Well, more like red in the face, right? There isn't anything about these first two games that showed me that Boston is really the better team. Now, unless they can tighten up on their defense and make the shots, that's what's going to have to happen, right? But you beat a Golden State squad having to shoot 65% from the perimeter. And the last game, when the defense was turned up on them, their shots just weren't there. Their shots were not there at all. They're going to still give Clay the shots, right? Did you hear that stat that Clay is making more contested shots than uncontested shots, right? So he's got open shots. They're just not going down. When that happens, man, to where you can't cheat now because you still got to bring the pressure on Clay, it's curtains, bro. It's curtains. I don't care about Jordan Poole. So I don't know where Jose got that from. Jordan Poole is still in development. He's going to be a good player, but he's not the savior and the reason why that they're going to win or lose a game. That's just not happening. You're just seeing right now, everybody's forgetting really how good Golden State's defense is as well. Everyone talks about the Boston defense. Golden State has great defense also, and people are sleeping on that. So all in all, Jay, I am just convinced. And you haven't seen me take money line dogs, right? That's just not that's just not something I do. So nothing's guaranteed. I always got to say that, but that's just where my money is today. That's where my money is.
Well, if you cash all three of these bets, Sterl's on first quarter plus 1.5 minus 109, full game plus 3.5 minus 110, and money line plus 135. If you cash all three of these, you'll be at 59.1% for the
Almost
season.
there.
I will be cheering for that. Josh Benedict says nailed down under 215 large last game. I love that you did, Josh. I was with you. I bet as soon as it came out, so I got a 215.5. I have no move on this game. I feel that game twos and game fours are so easy in both the NHL and the NBA playoffs.
Why is that?
Because you have perfect opportunities for teams to answer.
Right.
And you have perfect opportunities to not believe the stats that people saw in game one and bet against what everybody saw with the biases. Big shout out to Max Swelly. That's a $10 dono for Jose.
Yeah, for Jose.
For old Leche Tits Bouquet.
Tell Jose to have a Coke and a smile, bro.
Oh, he's not happy. I see him backstage.
No, I am so angry. There's just so much going on. The Red Sox are playing well right now, but I'm still just so angry. And
Jose, and I know we're kind of running over here, but what is your reasoning behind Boston losing game two as bad as they did?
Them being just a mentally weak ass fucking pussy team from several points in this year. Once they got down in the third quarter, they were like, all right, well, this is over. The first half, was a competitive first half, and then that third quarter happened, and they just threw in the towel. So I don't give a fuck about game 2 because they did what they needed to do. They got the road win, and I said, again, I've been saying since this series was happening, I said Celtics in 4 or 5. I gave the Warriors enough credit to say that they are a team with pedigree, championships. They can get one game, especially at home. And if the Celtics swept the Warriors, then I would be insufferable, obviously. But this is, physically, lengthwise, defensively, just purely better. The only player on the court.
Golden State won't win it. Golden State won't win another game.
That is what I've been saying. Yes. And by the way, I was this close to blocking Sam Colmer off our chat for saying that Jordan Poole is a better player than Marcus Smart, and I'll stake bet you 100%. No doubt.
Golden State will not win another fucking game.
Sure,
well,
I'll stake bet you
odds on
that.
That because like if he was to bet that it'll end
probably
up
like plus like 3,500 or whatever. But I'll bet you on the series, Dale. You say Celtics or Warriors in 7.
No. I said Warriors in 6.
Okay, let's stake bet the series then. No
can
problem.
do that. You could if you could say Celtics in 5 against Warriors in 6, or bet against the series.
I'll take it straight up, Daryl. Celtics versus the Warriors in this series, since you've got that Oakland shine on you. You've got a nice little California sun smile. Everything about you is California, Daryl. We're from the grindy streets. The grindy streets of Venezuela and Boston, because that's what we do there. We grind. We don't give out these handouts like the Warriors do in this soft-ass Western Conference. Pussies.
Are you going to take that action? The series is a pick'em right now.
Please, let's take it, bro.
All right.
Please, let's take it.
We have a stake bet, and we haven't had enough stake bets of late. It used to be a wonderful opportunity to eat. I even brought a homeless guy in for my steak meal so that because he owed me 2 steaks. Yeah.
Everybody in the audience, now listen to me carefully, is being given a special package, and I don't want you to open it. Do not open it. Cameras are on you, so do not open until I tell you. All right, open your boxes. Open your boxes. 1, 2, 3.
You get a steak. 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 Everybody gets a steak.
Daryl, you're already up a steak.
Yeah, I'm already up a steak, man.
I'm up a steak on you, Jimmy, too. Just remember that.
Wow.
For what?
Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. Tiger Woods, yeah, you're up a steak on me. Okay.
Jesus.
We have some steak action left. I've got to go over
Trout and Vladdy.
Oh, and I'm losing that one as well.
And Ohtani games played.
Oh, yes.
God damn.
Thank God.
Jose is like, pull up, bro. Pull up.
Steaks? No.
Well, Daryl, I'm extremely aggro. Let me tell you, since this series started, my baseball record has plummeted. My family relationship has plummeted. Helga likes me less. I'm just a crazier person when it comes to this bullshit ass sport of basketball.
He did put the phone away when he watched Top Gun.
Really?
So yeah, he did put the phone away, and I think that she respected that. He didn't know the score until he stepped outside the theater. I'll tell you, I will see Top Gun 0 times. So if anyone's wondering,
what the fuck are you talking about, Jay?
I don't go see. I don't watch. I don't want any. I don't need fiction. I don't care. Is there a volleyball scene where they blow each other afterwards?
It's actually football this time.
It's football. I don't give a fuck. I'm not watching.
Wait a minute. This is a cornerstone of 80s movies, man, that we grew. I mean, you and I are the same age. What are you talking about? We all wanted to be fucking Goose. Oh God, I made fun of Goose my whole life. You think I want to be fucking Goose? Come on, bro. Jimmy, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because I thought that you would have been, and I haven't seen it yet, but I am going to go see it, right? But come on.
I'll see it 0 times.
I'm disappointed, Daryl. I'm disappointed.
Okay. All right.
This has gotten out of hand today, man. You should not have brought me on to talk about Golden State because Jose is he's out.
No, it worked so beautifully because we had the juxtaposition of Jose losing his shit.
Yeah, he lost his shit.
And your cool, calm style
He lost his
really
shit.
was very, very enjoyable. So, James, I said I want to be Doughboy. I mean, look, if they make a new Boys in the Hood, I'll check that shit out.
Oh, goddamn. Yeah.
Durrell, first quarter plus 1.5 minus
Yes, sir.
109. Full
Yes,
game
sir.
plus 3.5 minus 110. And money line plus 135. Say
Yes,
hey,
sir.
play of the day, Celtics minus 155. And lots been talked about here on the show. And there's a
Hey,
big bet online.
I'm toggling the fence with this. Maybe you can help me because I could make it official before tip off. What do you think about Golden State total points over 26.5 now? First quarter.
If you believe that the Golden State Warriors are going to step up in the face of adversity and
Mhm.
go into the Garden and beat the Celtics, then you have to expect them to win the first quarter. I would prefer taking them first quarter plus 1.5 that you have already,
Right.
because it is possible that the pressure on Tatum and Brown. Now, I think they're gamers. I think they'll handle it fine, but it is possible that that one or two of them don't shoot well, or that
Right.
Curry hits a couple buckets. It's a 9-2 lead early, and then the Warriors realize, oh, we don't need to put up 30 points in the
Gotcha.
first quarter to
Gotcha.
win it by 7. So
Gotcha.
I think that your action all works together, and I would hate the Warriors to win the first quarter, 26-21 or 26-19, and then you have to take an L and lose some money.
Right. Because I took them on the under last time, and then you have Steph Curry shoot 6 threes in the first quarter, right?
Yeah.
But they're averaging over 30 at this point, which is well above their average. So shout out to Lamont, man. Golden State money line. I mean, I just feel it, bro. I should say I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is, but I'm not gonna go there. But I do feel like it should be that.
Oh no, you've even angered him more.
Oh,
I would not have played the graphic. I would not have played the graphic. I promise you, I would not have hit it. I promise you. You would have sat there just looking at me like, what's going on? I would not have hit it. I would have left.
That was extremely entertaining. And what's more is we get Durrell again on Friday.
Yeah.
So we'll have Durrell for game 4. A table has been set for how much fun it's going to be to have you on. I love it. I love working with you, Durrell. I hope this year is just the beginning of working with you for the rest of my career. You're a class act and a great capper. And Jose is, in my estimation, the best producer in the business. I love his passion.
I love that brother, man.
I love how much he cares, and he cares about it all. And I can send him anything at 1 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning. Like, he just cares so much. So both of you guys are a joy to work with.
You guys lathering me up right now. It does not disseminate or disappear.
All right, I'm going to pull him off now. I'm going to rip him off. Girl, I love you, man.
Oh, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Any last words? Oh, and by the way, Lamont Williams, who's with you, is such a good capper. So he's
really
his max bet was everybody needed to know when I started, and he's just not around enough. But when we started rolling, me and Pete, everyone, what's Lamont Williams max bet? People would join the show just to find out what Lamont Williams max bet is. So
I got to give that guy a follow. I told myself after my sister had passed that I would be more involved with the present, So I got to give these guys a follow because I know my list is really, really kind of lopsided. But if I take your words as gold. So if Lamont is that guy and Lamont is saying Golden State, that makes me feel even better then, because I just feel it, man. I just feel it. Now, what I'm going to do is after this game, I want Nate to tweet out, Darryl, you're dope. You're dope, Darryl, if they win today, but I doubt it. So yeah, I appreciate you, Jay. I really do, man.
And Dennis says, "Let Jose be Jose." No, we love him. We absolutely love him. We love him. We love him very much. Darryl, any last words for Capper Sport in the show?
Don't go to bed angry, man. Don't let the sun go down on you angry. Make sure that you just enjoy life. Hug your brother, man. Hug your sister. Right? Nothing is too big in this world. In this life that you have to keep you angry. So if you've got an ought against your brother, make sure you work that out, bro. That's all I'm saying. Life is short, And I really, really, really appreciate everybody, specifically the people that have reached out. This is not a sad day. And I do believe that there are better days to come with this show, with everybody. I just wish everybody, yourself, Jimmy, everybody in the chat, Jose, I wish you all success.
Oh, he is a good man. He's a good man. Jose can't be angry after that. Can't be.
You'd be surprised.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Let's review all action here. My guy Viper NB is on the Warriors money line. Yankees first 5 -1/2. Blue Jays over 8. Braves -1.5. Red Sox -1.5. Cleveland first 5 -1/2. And Mets money line. Fap win is on the Marlins and the Phillies in a 2-game money line parlay. Hunter Engelhart is on this Philadelphia Detroit under that Noli is on, and it's 1-1 in the 5th. God, I should have. That's aggravating. Let the market take me off of a spot. Hunter Engelhart's on Pittsburgh Detroit under. Blue Jays first 5 -1/2. Guardians first 5 -1/2. Cards money line first 5. And there we go. North Ender said I grabbed the under and the first period under already for tomorrow. So did I, North Ender, but not that first period. I'm going to take the first period first period under 1 plus price. I've talked myself into that. The barbecue sauce titty play of the days in the UEFA Nations League. Netherlands team total over 2.5 at plus 175. Dave Burke, my man Burke, he says I tailed Noli on that first 5 under. Let's go. I love it. And 7 Ks for Faedo. God, he's good. So Noli is on the under 8 at plus 100 in this Tigers Pittsburgh game. That's looking nice. I'm on the Jays as per usual. -1. Sorry, I got this terrible lyric in my head from a Toronto comic, which I won't mention. But -1 on the Jays. I got -116. Diamondbacks, Reds, we stayed off. Mariners, Astros, we stayed off. Noli's on the full game under 7.5 -101 in Nationals. Marlins, he's on Wilson Contreras over 1.5 bases at plus 102. I'm going to study the Cubs right now. I think I may move on them. Cardinals, Rays off. Noli's on the under 7.5 in Rangers, Guardians. He's on the first 5 under 5 -107 in A's, Braves. I like that look. I'm interested in that look. Spreadsheet play today's the Yankees. Taint play today's Yankees first 5 -1/2. And I'm on the Yankees first 5 -1/2 and the Yankees -1. Bet them last night. I'm going to bet the Dodgers first 5 -1/2 and full game -1. Noli's on the first 5 under 4.5. I think there's a big advantage with Gonsolin over Cueto. And I'm going to move on the first 5 under 4 plus 100 in Philadelphia, Milwaukee. But that is going to take a little bit more study. I expect to. If anyone follows me on Twitter, you'll see my action. Say hey, play of the day is the Red Sox team total over 4.5 at -115, and we stayed off. Padres, Mets, and Rockies, Giants. If you liked what you saw from Jose Bouquet today, if you go to our website at Pub Sports Radio and join the playback, hit the playback, you watch the game live with Jose and the boys at Pub Sports Radio, and you'll see him losing his shit in person.
And all you need, just to let you guys know, when you click on the link right here, it's going to be, hold on, let's move this back real quick. The playback link right there beside the Buy Me a Coffee link. You click it. All you need is a cable provider or a YouTube provider, perhaps. You know, like say I have YouTube TV. You make an account and they'll say, hey, how are you going to watch this game? Because you watch the game right there with us as well. So we'll be a little bubbles. The game will be behind us. You'll be able to hear the commentary. It's a whole good thing. It's pretty dope. It's just the best of both worlds. You get your commentary, you're gambling on top of the game. We're just kind of, imagine a gambling telecast, and that is kind of what it is going to be, along with a crazed Venezuelan person. So all the best worlds of sports.
And Maxwell says we need another live video when the game ends. I was like, yes, I agree with that.
I promise you, if the Celtics win, I'm going to immediately record a message for Daryl immediately. Just all of my emotions. And if the Celtics lose, I'll be ghost. So fuck yourself.
There you have it. And T says you don't need a provider. It uses the host's provider.
Oh, even better. There you go. When I log in, it has me. I'll offer one in. So even better. Just go watch the game, guys. That's the whole point is pubsportradio.com. and the link is there. And by the way, a website is like fully operational and running now. Records are on there as well. Links, or I should say, t-shirt links and all that stuff. You can watch the show on there. Like I said, it's a lovely time, and you can see what we're on too. And 25% off everything on the shop for Father's Day. So definitely do that. These shirts right now, you can go get a Pub Sports Radio shirt for $17. Cheapest it's ever been. So shout out to Pub Sports Radio, shout out to Jeff, and shout out to all the dads.
I love it. Great work, Jose, as always. You brought some levity to the show when it was so very much needed. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. We have nothing without you guys. Nasty Nate, Lamont Williams. Lamont says, Jose, if the Golden State Warriors win, will you tell me? Will you tell him that he's the man?
Yeah, sure. I'll tweet it out, and then I will disappear for the next 12 hours until you guys see me right here on Pub Sports Radio.
Okay. It doesn't work like that. PG 00187. It doesn't. Where's you got to go to the website to hit the playback button there. That's the link. So it doesn't get tweeted out and doesn't go out like that.
We can tweet it out now. Actually, we finally got permission to do that, so it'll be tweeted after the show.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, dope.
Yeah, how nice. That's why I'm announcing all this. We can fully announce it. I sent the Pub Sports Radio link in the description or in the chat again. But yeah, just click on the Pub Sports Radio link, and in the top right corner, you'll see the Buy Me a Coffee and playback link. Once it gets closer to the game, click that link. We'll be all there. And Nasty Nate saying there is a playback app as well. So if you don't want to do it on your computer, want to do it on your phone, do it on the app as well. You can join in. If you want to join in, be a little bubble, talk to us, all that good stuff. It is a great time.
I love it. Ixnizzle says, great show, y'all. Appreciate everybody. Blessed, not stressed. It's a lifestyle and mindset. Dominate the day. Much love. Brian Warner, Mad Stoney, Real Deal Prime, Rants, Topset, JPZ, LJ from H-Town, Nate Cerna, Wallaby King, Tease, Cheshire Cat, Williams Wrestling, Hunter Engelhart says Keller over 4.5 Ks in Detroit, Pittsburgh, first half under. Boom. Nice job, Hunter. AOD, Dave Burke, Joe Free, Rob Free. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. Let's get that cash. BG 00187. Let's fucking go. We had a spectacular day. 10.45 units up yesterday. 124 hours. One night. Picked up 10.45 units. A lot of fucking money, man. Let's keep that money coming in. Let's get that cash. Leche. Hey, Los Bookmakers.